Yeah, man.
That's hot shit right there, man.
So what we gonna do? We gonna dub.
News networks are not even getting clicks like that. So this shows like there's an opportunity for this, what we're doing here on this show.
Look up something in back check, kind of like cross reference.
Yeah, I should put the.
You say you look that shit up. That's the name of your show.
Yeah,
that's right. What really drew me in.
Remember, we want you to be an activist, and don't take our word for it. Look that shit up. Pulley.
Looks like we got us another hit.
Yep. EUX. I'm dyslexic. The King Chuck ENT DEUX. That's the backup page. Please check us out there. Help us out a lot. You know, like, share, and subscribe. And hope I don't get in trouble for playing that last video. I probably shouldn't have played that shit. I'm always testing the damn waters, bro. That shit gonna get me.
You are now
Who and what are we gonna complain about tonight?
You are now
Dime qué tú quieres, papi. ¿Quieres que lo mueva para ti? Mueve, mueve. ¿Te gusta cuando me muevo así? Así. Mueve, muevo, mueve.
Hey, you, we up in the place. We up in the place. We up in the place. Hey, you, make your body shake. Make your body shake. Make your body shake. Hey, you, we up in the place. We up in the place. We up in the place. Hey, you, make your body shake. Make your body shake. Make your body shake. Hop, hop, jump, skip up on the floor. If they didn't know, then we gon' let them know. Drop low, giving them a show. We gon' give them something that they never seen before. Hop, scotch, 784. Bouncing on the beat while keeping the flow. Stop, watch, freeze and go. Cock-a-doodle-doo is what you eating off the floor. Pop, lock, do it by yourself. You know you the best, you don't need nobody else. Rock, hip, toast to success. You was born a winner, so you never nothing less. Hey, you, we up in the place. We up in the place. We up in the place. Hey, you, make your body shake. Make your body shake. Make your body shake. Hey, you, we up in the place. We up in the place. We up in the place. Hey, you, make your body shake. Make your body shake. Make your body shake. Bow, bow, rock, rock, shake, shake, wiggle, 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 wiggle. Bow, bow, rock, rock, shake, shake, wiggle, 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 wiggle. Bow, bow, rock, rock, shake, shake, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Bow, bow, rock, rock, shake, shake, wiggle, wiggle. When we come through, make you move just a little. Clap, snap, do it from the hip. You can do this whether you stand or sit. Pump, fist, do it with your wrist. Pump it back and forth like you trying to catch a fish. Hip, twist, do a finger kiss. Rocking back and forth as you make your body shift. Top, tick, do it like you sick. 2 + 4 is 6 and that's arithmetic. Top, 6, we gon' let it rip. We got your attention and we not gon' let it slip. So hands up, move your head and know what's up. Now it's shoulders rolling while you showing them your stuff. Hey, you, we up in the place. We up in the place. We up in the place. Hey, you, make your body shake. Make your body shake. Make your body shake. Hey, you, we up in the place. We up in the place. We up in the place. Hey, you, make make your body shake, make your body shake, make your body shake. Bow, 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 shake, shake, wiggle, wiggle.
Dime qué tú quieres para ti.
Bow, 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 shake, shake, wiggle, wiggle.
¿Quieres que lo mueva para ti?
Bow, 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 shake, shake, wiggle,
¿Te
wiggle.
gusta cuando me muevo así? Así.
Bow, 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 shake, shake, wiggle, 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 wiggle. Make you move just a little, 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 just a little.
One, two, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah. 1, 2, 1, 2. A mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. It's time to check the mic and best of bet. I'm about to wreck it to the leather. Jealous people hate but don't debate. Just check my measures. Electric by design. I even shine in stormy weather. Attempt to meddle and tether this mental treasure, and you find yourself embedded in the chasm in the desert. Thirsting for hydration, no libation, empty kettle. Take it to another level, add the bullet in the shovel. Got you on the bubble, double trouble. See you stumbled, and it's about to get repugnant like a kitten in the rumble. Quick to fluff and tumble, best be humble when we come through, cause I have you stiffing under. Mama wonder where you went to.
1, 2, 1, 2. Mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah. 1, 2, 1, 2. Mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah. What you gon' do? It's the KCE crew. We making you look like Fu Manchu. Proper grasshopper who with the kung fu. Cut and slice nice like Benny Hanna do. Take quick bites like the tip of a piranha tooth. Go ahead and steal my mic. Watch it blow up right in front of you. We coming to give you something good like some Beetlejuice. Give you something good like some Beetlejuice. Who do you think you are? You ain't gonna get real far. Driving your shifty car, following Diddy farts. I'ma be a Twitter star. I'ma be a Twitter star. Keep dreaming about how big you are, cause we bout to pick apart everything that's in your heart. Control and leave you torn to shards. Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon Bonaparte. Selling junk like San Francisco. Wax on, wax off Daniel, son. Selling junk like San Francisco.
1, 2, 1, 2. Mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah. 1, 2, 1, 2. Mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm tripping cause my mind's gone from always seeing tragedy. Can't close my eyes cause it's around me, I just call it reality. Can't paint no perfect picture like an artist they can't sell. It's what they try to instill in me, but my pockets seem to swell. Doing it like them ghetto boys did it back in those days. And we been jamming Pippin Bun, long live UGK. And before Eminem, we had Bill and Gangsta Nip. But we don't trip unless we on the plane taking a trip. And these suckers trying to contest us, but they find out we ain't no busters. We much more than screw, we keep it gutter. Mic check 1, 2, y'all cannot touch us. We don't be causing no problem, son. Coming at me like Daniel, son. You would get defeated, wax on, wax off, out to the righteous one.
1, 2, 1, 2. That's mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. You already know. Yeah. 1, 2, 1, 2. Mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Dude, I could blink my eyes and provide an entire fountain of sound effects pounding directly on your neck, having flashbacks of the tragic act back when the boom bap was replaced with pop rap or hip hop or whatever you call that. We need a lockbox or something to keep this weak pox from spreading. I'm heading outside of the outsiders, opening your mind wide. The silly rabbits are at it again, but they can't hide us. Sit tight, Mr. Hip Hop. We'll find your daughter. Ought to be easy. She emits a homing frequency. We picked it up back in '98, and we're actually surprised that it took us so long to triangulate her exact location. But congratulations, check it out. We about to get her right now. We already found the captors, trapped them and slapped them around. And burn the hideout to the ground.
Yeah, a 1, 2, 1, 2. Mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's make it hot. A 1, 2, 1, 2. Mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2.
You are now tuned in
With Lil G,
to the style
KC, real.
Bambino.
Sit by myself and I think about my life, and I think about my past. I be like my future shine. Damn, my future shine. Damn, my future shine. Damn, my future shine. Damn, my future shine. When I sit by myself and I think about my life, and I think about my past. I be like my future shine. Damn, my future shine. Damn, my future shine. Damn, my future shine. Damn, my future shine. Been building since '96. It's been a trip. Just trying to survive in this bitch. And you wonder why, where I'm from. Every time I turn around, dumber and dumber trying to pull me down. All my niggas screaming, just get up out of H-Town. But I ain't, this is where I make my bank. Plus I got unfinished business with a skank. G's be my witness, I'ma hit hard as a tank. I can't stop Casey the prophet, God of the day. I trust the game with a case for being fake, for I hate all of y'all, and I'm willing to eliminate anyone up in my way. Sitting living in the belly of the beast, predator and prey. Either get ate, pray you ain't the next nigga on my plate. Hey, I be like, damn, my future shy. That's why I let all my anger out when I get up on the mic. They say life is what you make it, but shit, that's like rolling dice, man. Let me tell you something, man. Life ain't all night. People be like, man, that's gravy, man, but that shit is right. Let me tell you something. You tell them the truth, they be like, that ain't right. But shit, life is shy. It's like putting up with a fight. If you fuck with me and can't see, we'll punch out your life. When I sit by myself and I think about my life, and I think about my past, I be like, my future shine. Yeah, my future shine. Yeah, my future shine. Yeah, my future shine. Yeah, my future shine. When I sit by myself and I think about my life, and I think about my past, I be like, my future shine. Yeah, my future shine. Yeah, my future shine. Yeah, my future shine. Hey, yeah, my future shine.
Hey, how y'all doing out there? How y'all feel? Remember, we want you to be an activist, and don't take our word for it. Look that shit up, please, for your own benefit. They tell me to put links on all of my shit. That's what I should do, because that's what everybody wants. They want it easy, but I want you to go down the rabbit hole, so just type random shit into your search bar. That's what I recommend. You watch this show, then you're curious about things, you know? You're an enlightened one. You're a special one. You know what I'm saying? You're not normal. You're not average, clearly. You know, go ahead and take that step, that extra step, and just, you know, type it in your search bar. Whatever it is that we talk about or that pops up or whatever that we say or we show, videos, whatever, and you're curious about it, you want to know more about it, type it in and look it up. You know what I'm saying? On your own. And or whatever, find a book about it or ask someone that knows about this kind of stuff, you know? Like I say, don't take my word for it. For real. You know? I really believe that we'll all come to the same conclusions, you know, humans will all come to the same conclusions when we're presented with all the real information. You know what I'm saying? And we're able to think too. So that's another thing. I try to make sure I teach my kids how to think, not what to think, how to think. And also not be lazy thinkers, because that's what happens. You know, you don't really think about it or whatever, you know, or you just don't know how to deal with it. That's why they give you the problem solving stuff in school and stuff, you know? So, you know, you either don't know how to do with it or you've gotten to the point where you just, you know, because you're in the habit of not thinking that, you know, you just don't. So, and then it becomes difficult to do it because you been not doing it for so long. So, I think that there's systems that set up for you to be that way. So, but that's why you have to push against that and, do some thinking, do some thought projects, and that's what we do all night on this show. This is all thought projects. This is all like thinking exercises. This is all to get your brain going and expand it. And then so that hopefully you can just like understand the world a bit better, And sometimes I know that I just be flooding you guys with a bunch of information. And I know I'll be overloading people sometimes, But sometimes there's different ways to go at things. So like sometimes I think that works, even though you feel like you didn't absorb it or whatever, but it's in there somewhere. And then when the subjects come up again, that's what it is. Repetition. It's kind of like working out or whatever you're doing. It's repetition. So those same ideas or thoughts or facts or information or whatever, some kind of reference related to it pops up, then it triggers that bit of information that you had in you that you didn't know you had. And then you just start adding these things up and they just start building up and you just start connecting dots and connecting dots and connecting dots. And we all, like I say, once we get to the point where we can connect more and more dots, we'll all start seeing the same picture. There's only one. Anyways, so today I want to talk about conspiracy theories or facts. And like somebody said, what's the difference between a conspiracy theory and a fact? And they said about 6 months. So like, it's weird though. It's weird though, because, when we talk about theories, because gravity is a theory, right? The theory of relativity, that's a theory, like the speed of light. These things is hard to really just like, so, but the thing is though, just because it says it's a theory doesn't mean that, because like with gravity, gravity works, right? Gravity is a thing. If you walk off the side of a building, you're going to go down and go splat. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's still called a theory, but it's still something that happens. Like what really is the explanation for the phenomenon is beside the point, I think. Calling it gravity or calling it something else is beside the point. We know the reality. You know what I'm saying? We live with the results of the reality every day. So that's the same thing with these things, like when they call like conspiracy theories, And it's like, again, it's like we know the reality. We know what it's like on the ground for us, what we see every day, And then they tell us it's a conspiracy theory. And we're like, wait, I just saw that wait, my friends and family, people I know seen it too. Like we all see it. What are you talking about? And then they try to make you feel stupid, right? You're a dumbass. You're ignorant. You don't know nothing. So you can't think for yourself. So, you think you saw whatever you saw or whatever the hell, like you think you thought, but it's not. It's a conspiracy theory. Somebody just put it in your mind and made you think that that's what was happening. And that's what's happening. And you're like, wait, okay, I guess maybe that's true. I'm tripping, right? I'm tripping. So then you go on with your life, and then it's like, that's what's crazy. Like it's a total mind fuck. But then in some circumstances, it may be true that what they're saying is a conspiracy theory, and you really are tripping. But then in other circumstances, you wasn't tripping. It wasn't a conspiracy theory, and you actually saw and heard and dealt with what you actually saw, heard, and dealt with. Do y'all get what I'm saying? So like, you have to be able to discern. You have to be know thyself. You have to be God. You have to realize the universe and see things for what they really are, so that you can discern the difference between them telling you that, oh, it's a conspiracy theory, and you like, okay. Because sometimes you are tripping, sometimes I'm tripping, sometimes we tripping. It be happening. It happens. Sometimes you think you know what's going on and you don't. And what does it say in the Bible? Trust your eyes less than your ears. Trust, something like that. I don't know. But basically the point is, just because you think you saw something doesn't mean that's what you saw or whatever. So, you question everything, even your own vision, question your own ears, question everyone needs to question their perspective, and really just be like, okay, why do I look at it this way? Why am I seeing this? Is this a real thing? Like, what is the context to this? Do a bit of investigation, because if you do a bit of investigation, you might find out that what you saw wasn't what you saw. But if you don't do any investigation, then you think and that's the problem. That's the problem. Everybody thinks they know, but they don't. They haven't even taken the time to know. But they're so confident that they know. I don't know where all this confidence comes from. Because it's weird. The most intelligent people, the people that know the most, are the ones that tend to have a issue with confidence. Their confidence is not going to be as steady. The guy that doesn't know shit is confident as fuck. I don't understand it. I really don't. I don't get it. Anyways, I'm going to play a bit of this video because this is what caught my eye earlier today while I wait for the people to get in, and then we'll get into the conspiracy theory stuff. I'm trying to decide on if I'm going to play these videos or not because they might get me in trouble, but maybe I can read the transcripts of them. It's not that it's anything that's bad or anything. It's just that they got a bunch of copyrighted stuff in these videos, like music, clips from movies and stuff. So I don't know. But I might just read the transcripts or something. I'm going to decide on that while I'm thinking about it. But I'm going to play some of this guy right here. And I know I really like the end of it. So let me see. Hold on, y'all. I'm going to try to pick a spot. I really like it when he sums up, but it's important, the stuff that he said before, so I don't know. We might skip through it.
For women, for disabled people, quiet and silent, you would say, as some faculty person must have instigated. It's never that way. The students start it, the faculty people come in, some. But you learn learned a lot about education. Learned that education is not simply what you get in the classroom, it's what you learn out in the midst of a social struggle. I remember when my students, Marion and a whole bunch of other students at Spelman and Morehouse, etc., were getting arrested in downtown Atlanta for sitting in. One of my colleagues, a political scientist, PhD from Johns Hopkins, I want to give him his full due before I wrote a letter to the Atlanta Constitution, deploring that his students were missing class and going downtown to participate in these demonstrations. Their education, they're losing out on their education. Well, obviously, this man was losing out on his education. He didn't understand what education was and didn't understand that people learn more in the heat of social struggle than they can simply by books and classrooms. Sure, books and classrooms are good, and you come back from the picket line and come back to the classroom and you want to read more, learn more, you want to read more history of what it is you were involved with. So, yeah, I learned a lot. I learned from my students. I learned never to mistake silence for agreement. No, because you looked at the surface. You came to Spelman College in 1956. Things look quiet. Everybody's well behaved. People are going, they're doing their lessons. They're going to do the right things to become successful, do what their parents want them to do, and become, people of some substance and use in the black segregated community, right? Well, that's the way it looked. And you could, looking at that surface of quiet and silence, you would say, as so many people say about students today or about people today, where are they? They're not doing anything, you know. Never look at the surface of things. This is what I learned. And I always assume that if something is wrong, under the surface, there's a kind of common sense understanding that something is wrong. I believe in this country there's a common sense understanding that there's something wrong with spending $270 billion on weaponry when 40 million people are without health insurance and health, there's kind of, people understand that, and people fundamentally understand things, but very often they're quiet about it, they're practical. They're waiting for the right moment. They're waiting for somebody to make the first move, and so at a certain point, my students at Spelman burst out, of that silence, and they and young people and older people all over the South, black people, all over the South, just galvanized the country and the world and embarrassed the U.S. government into finally doing something.
Embarrassed them into doing something.
One of the things we learned at that time, you don't depend on the government.
Don't depend on the government.
On even the most liberal government. I mean, we had liberal governments and conservative governments. We had Democrats and Republicans for 100 years in this country after the passage of the 14th Amendment. 14th Amendment was supposed to guarantee racial equality, and it didn't matter who was in power in Washington. They didn't do a thing to enforce the 14th Amendment until black people in the 1950s and 1960s came out en masse and embarrassed the government of the United States into doing something.
Embarrassed them into doing something.
That was when democracy came alive. Democracy is not a set of procedures. It's not a framework. Democracy is people giving you something to drink when you're thirsty.
Thirsty.
So, democracy came alive in the 60s. No, democracy, as I said, is not, it's not what we learned in junior high school. This is democracy. I'm going to put it on the blackboard. Here are the three branches of government: executive, legislative, judicial. Here's the Constitution. That's democracy. Vote every 4 years. That's no. If we depended on that, we would be lost more than we are. The thing that changed things to the extent that they did change for black people, for working people in this country, for women, for disabled people, for people who against what thing. The government of the United States did not initiate any of the things that were necessary to remedy those grievances. People had to go out and create movements in order to bring that about. And then, if the movement became strong enough and loud enough and persistent enough, then the government responded. That was the lesson of democracy. What else should I say? What other books of mine haven't I mentioned?
I hear there's a documentary being made about people's history.
What's that?
I hear there's a documentary being made about people's history.
Well, maybe.
They're going to get to questions.
It's possible. Thank you. Yeah.
There's a microphone set up back here. There's a microphone set up right back there.
And then I repeat the question and distort it, as I usually do.
Had a large impact on American history, at least. About Gallaudet University in 1988. The big revolt was called Deaf President Now, and deaf people really mobilized. And then they closed the university. It was at that time called the college. They closed it for a week to do the Deaf President Now revolt. So I'm wondering, that had a large impact on American history, at least deaf people think so. But I was looking in the section about history during that period of time, and there was no mention at all of Deaf President Now.
Yeah.
So it hasn't really impacted American history according to the books.
My book, or books generally? Well,
General history.
Generally,
Books. General history.
including
books.
my book. Yeah, really. I'm ashamed to say this,
No,
but
no.
from time to time, people have pointed out
So I
the
want
things
to know
I've
your
missed
opinion.
in my book. You know, I've missed a lot. Yeah, and you know, when the first edition of the book came out, I really didn't do justice to the struggles of Chicano people in this country. Didn't do justice to the struggles of gay and lesbian people in this country. Didn't do justice to the struggles of disabled people, or, you know, to this event, which was I remember that event, and to me it was such a perfect example of democracy coming alive, where, you know, the students protest in this remarkable way to have a president who represents their own situation. Yeah, and that was a wonderful event, and I'm going to make note of it for the next time there's another printing of my book, and the printings come fast. So I will I'll make a note of that. I wish you'd send me some stuff, okay? You do email? And I wrote the book in the sort of late 1970s, I guess when I had some breathing space after the anti-war movement. You know, during the anti-war movement, we were all doing all these furious things. You know, it was, you know, many of you know this. The war was the center of our lives, and we were running around the country and doing this and that, and there was no time, certainly no time to write a 700-page book. So I was putting out little things, you know, a 125-page book called Vietnam, The Logic of Withdrawal, and a 100-page book called Disobedience and Democracy. And, you know, no more time. So, but now I had time, so I decided to write what people had been looking for, or at least people would approach me and say, you know, you've been teaching American history and so on. Can you recommend a good one-volume history of the United States from a radical point of view? No. Well, not really. I don't want to go into bibliographical detail about what there is and what there isn't, but not exactly, you know. But these were the demands that came out of the movements of the 60s. Because out of the movements of the 60s, people were looking for something different. People were remembering the kind of history they had learned in high school and college, and was thinking, this doesn't fit what I see in the world today. And so they were looking for something, and so I decided to write something to fill that need. Now, clearly, those of you who know the book I know that I came to that history from a very definite point of view. And I guess this is because when I began to study history, when I decided that's what I would do, I would write history and I would teach history, I already knew that I was not going to be a neutral teacher. I was not going to be a neutral historian. I have a memoir called, notice how I'm advertising all my books. Isn't this a book festival? You know? Yeah, I have many more. You'll hear many more things like that. And I'll just try not to mention other people's books. But I wrote a memoir called You Can't Be Neutral on a Moving Train. And then the idea of it came from things I would say to my classes at the beginning of the class. I would say, now look, you know, this is not going to be a neutral class. This is not going to be one of those classes where you spend a semester or a year with a teacher, and at the end of the semester, at the end of the year, you have no idea where this teacher stands on the important issues of the day. We've all had teachers like that, right? There are a lot of them. No, I wasn't going to be neutral. I had a point of view, a strong point of view. I wasn't going to hold back on it because I didn't believe you might say I had a very modest desire in going into history. I just wanted to change the world. And I figured you can't change the world if you're neutral. Yeah. And besides, to be neutral, no. Well, the world is already moving in certain directions. There's no real thing, neutrality. It doesn't exist. The world is already moving in certain directions. Wars are going on. Children are going hungry. Terrible things are being done. To be neutral in such a world is to collaborate with what is going on.
Yes, amen.
And so, no, I wasn't going to be neutral as a historian. And yes, I kind of knew as I started to write this book what my point of view was going to be. And it came out of my background. It came out of my life experience. It came out of the fact that at the age of 18, I didn't go to college. I went to work in a shipyard. Stayed in the shipyard for 3 years. I didn't do it as a sociological experiment. Let's go interview the shipyard workers and do an oral history of shipyard workers. Yeah, no, that wasn't it. I just came from that kind of background, that kind of family, that kind of neighborhood, and working class parents and so on, struggling, no thought of going to college when you got 18. Everybody around me went to work at the age of 18. So I worked in a shipyard for 3 years and helped organize the young shipyard workers who were excluded from the AFL unions. Black people were excluded from the unions. Women were excluded from the unions. Unskilled workers were and so we formed a kind of industrial union, an IWW, almost. That's what we like to think, Whenever we do something good, we like to compare ourselves to the IWW, you see. And we were, so you might say I grew up class conscious, with a phrase you don't hear much in the United States. That is, we're not supposed to have classes in the United States. We're all one big happy family, you see. All of our interests are the same. Exxon and me. The founding fathers and all of us. The very name founding fathers. We're related by blood to those slave owners who sat in on the making of the Constitution. Yeah, no, we're not one big family, despite the attempts on the part of the establishment to draw us all in to this net and say our interests are one. You hear them talking about, is this in our national interest? Is this in the interest of national security? Actually, it may be in the interest of somebody's securities, but not in the interest of national security.
Somebody's securities.
But all these phrases are supposed to envelop us all in one common bond of interest, instead, and thus hiding the fact that we are a society of many different interests, of people who are rich and people who are poor, and a lot of people in between who are nervous. And so we, black and white and men and women and immigrants. No, it's a society of people in stressful relationship with one another. And so I wanted to write a history which would be from a class-conscious point of view. I wasn't going to write about the founding fathers and the making of the Constitution and glorify the Constitution, which was written by 55 rich white men in Philadelphia. I wasn't going to do that, even though, I was taken aback for a moment when, Ronald Reagan, during the bicentennial year of the Constitution, 1987, Ronald Reagan wrote an essay. Can you believe that? Ronald Reagan wrote an essay for some scholarly magazine, Parade magazine, in which he talked about the Constitution and said, the Constitution could only have been created with the guiding hand of God. Well, I thought this was really an insult to God. When you consider, the Constitution was written to perpetuate the wealth, to perpetuate slavery, to perpetuate things as they were, to replace the British ruling class with a local ruling class. That's what the Constitution was written for. I'm sorry to be so harsh on the founding fathers. They're nice guys. They look good. They dress well. They're very eloquent. But no, I was going to write about history I didn't want to write about American industrial progress as it was presented to me in high school. It was presented to me in high school. I remember sitting there in class, and this is the period of the great American Industrial Revolution, when America became a great economic power. That period between the Civil War and World War I, when You know, and I remember sitting there transfixed as the figures were put up on the board of how many more steel ingots were being produced each year. You know, how many miles of railroad track and the transcontinental railroad. Wow, how romantic and how beautiful. And we were so proud. Nothing was said in those classes, and nothing was said in my textbooks about who worked on those railroads, about the Irish immigrants and the Chinese immigrants who worked on those railroads and died in great numbers in the sickness and the heat in those railroads.
Yep.
I was going to tell about the great industrial miracle of the United States, that leaving out the girls who went to work in the textile mills of New England at the age of 12 and died at the age of 25. No. And I wasn't going to look at the state of the country from the standpoint of the Dow Jones average. You know, I mean, if you look historically, you know, and I was sort of prepared for this by some of my work in history. I was prepared looking back at eras which had been triumphantly proclaimed as wonderful eras. You know, remember the era of goodwill? Do they still have that in the textbooks? But they certainly have, you know, the Roaring '20s, the Jazz Age, the Age of Prosperity. I mean, history is very simple. The '20s were prosperous. Everybody was prosperous in the '20s, and everybody was depressed in the '30s. So, what I did, I was doing a study of Fiorello LaGuardia, my first book. Mention another book, yes. Never miss an opportunity. First, my doctoral dissertation actually was on Fiorello LaGuardia. And a lot of you know who Fiorello LaGuardia is? Some people, yes. I mean, some people, you know, think, you know, he's an airport. No. But he was, you know, a lot of people know he was mayor of New York, very colorful character. But before that, a lot of people don't know this, and I didn't know this until I started working with him. He was a congressman in the 1920s, representing East Harlem, representing a poor district of East Harlem. An interesting congressman, the most radical member of Congress. He was a Republican and a socialist. Don't ask me to explain that. You see, but I was reading the letters that LaGuardia's constituents were writing to him from East Harlem in the 1920s in the Age of Prosperity. The Jazz Age, and these letters from his constituents were saying, help me. You know, my husband is out of work. My kids don't have enough to eat. They've turned off the gas, you know. And it was true all over the country, but nobody noticed it because the headlines were about the Wall Street and the stock market and how well it was doing. And you, I mean, you learn about today when you read about history. If you don't learn about today, don't learn about today when you're learning about history, then there's not much point, you know, to fun. Oh yeah, fun. But I never wanted to be a historian who went into the past and got lost. You know, the past is interesting. You go in and you read those letters and the documents, and it's detective work and it's fun, you know, but you can get lost there. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted to see what I could find and come out and apply it to what was going on in the world. I left the shipyard to enlist in the Air Force. And you can tell I'm a kind of military person. But there was a war on. No, not the Spanish-American War. No, it's World War II. The war
just
against
play a little bit
fascism,
more
I
of
was
this.
viewed. There's a lot of young radicals.
He's going to talk about
viewed. Young everybody. You know, yes, the war against fascism. Let's, you know, and so I became a bombardier in the Air Force and flew bombing and dropped bombs and where bombs are dropped, meaning not where they're intended to go. Sometimes where they are intended to go, which sometimes is worse. But in any case, I became a bombardier, but I came out of this. This is the good war, as you know.
The good war.
Right? This is the best of wars.
The best of wars.
I wrote a book. I wrote a book once called Post-War America, and I had a chapter in it about World War II. The chapter was called The Best of Wars. And Studs Terkel, you know, wrote The Good War later. But a wonderful book. if you notice, if you look at the book closely, the phrase "the good war" in Studs Terkel's book is surrounded by quotation marks. Yeah, because it's not that simple, it's not that clear, it's not that unambiguous, it's very complicated. And I came out of that good war, in which I had been an eager bombardier, came out of the war convinced that war solves nothing. The war doesn't solve fundamental human problems. But even when it seems to do so, even when it starts off looking that way, even when the enemy is vicious and you, because the enemy is vicious, you look good.
You're
This
good.
is a common mistake. The mistake is that if the enemy is evil, you must be good. Well, it was, I came out of the war persuaded that war, well, it didn't take long. There were those promises made in World War II. Those promises, this would be, we're going to defeat fascism and we're going to have a wonderful new world, right? We're going to have a world, we're not going to have racism anymore because we're going to defeat Hitler. Hitler represents racism. We're not going to have war anymore. We're not going to have militarism anymore. No, we're going to have the UN. We're going to have, Well, it doesn't take much observation of the years that follow World War II to begin to ask the question, if 50 million people died in World War II, what did they die for?
What for?
This kind of world with a perpetuation of war and militarism and racism, and yes, and fascism and nooks and crannies all over the world, including our own country.
The world.
Fascism is not confined to national boundaries. Fascism exists in every prison in this country, really. And there exists in the military. So, anyway, the point is that from this point on, if I was going to deal in history with war, and writing history and teaching history, I had a very strong point of view, and the point of view was anti-war. And my personal experience, like dropping napalm on a little village in France toward the end of the war, and killing German, Frenchmen, whoever happened to be there, basically to test out napalm. That's the only reason I could figure out for doing it. It was the first use of napalm. And then watching the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and then reading John Hersey and having the stories of the people, children caught in that. No, I wasn't going to be neutral on the question of war, and I wasn't going to look at war from the standpoint of the statesmen and the decision makers, the generals. I was going to look at war from the standpoint of the GIs and the soldiers and the young men cajoled and coerced into going to war. I also wanted to look at war from the standpoint of the other side. Yeah, and this is something you don't think about. Let's look at war from the standpoint of the enemy, the other people, right? Let's look at the Mexican war from the standpoint of the Mexicans. Well, when you look at the Mexican war from the standpoint of the Mexicans, well, here we are. We're in Mexican territory. Right? This was part of Mexico, and we stole it. There's no other word for it. We provoked a war with Mexico so that we could take half of Mexico. Some people thought we were being moderate. We should have taken all of Mexico. But no, I wanted to tell a story of Mexico, of that war, from the standpoint of the GIs who woke up one day, American immigrant kids who just for the same reason that most young people join wars, join out of desperation and need and desire to get ahead or whatever, and then find themselves in a bloody mess, which they don't want any part of. And so they began deserting from the American army in the Mexican War. From their point of view and from the point of view of the Mexicans. And so, it was my experience, and it was history also. When I looked at the history of wars and the history of America's wars, I know there are good wars and bad wars. Good wars and bad, we have these lists, right? Good wars and bad wars. I had a student once who wrote, they treat wars like wines. This is a good year, this is a bad year. He said, but war is not like wine. War is like cyanide. One drop and you're dead. and all the experience of in all the other wars since the war to end all wars, since World War II, sort of confirmed, what I felt about war, and of course, right up to this very day. And I wanted to. One of the things I wanted to get across to students is to lose their subservience to power, lose their subservience to authority, lose their subservience to the so-called experts.
Yes.
There was no more vivid lesson during the Vietnam War than lesson about experts. And I remember people at the beginning of the anti-war movement saying, "Now wait a while, these people in Washington, I mean, why do you think they're there? They know what they're doing." Really? Really? I mean, just look at the history of what people in Washington have done and ask, they know what they're doing? I mean, they can be Phi Beta Kappa, and they were in the Kennedy and Johnson administration. They were the best and the brightest. They were the smart, right? And they engaged in the most stupid and most immoral set of actions that we've had in the history of our country for a long time. So I wanted my students to learn to think for themselves and to learn and seek out information for themselves, not to depend, on what the president says, what the media say, or what the experts said. Not even what my book said, but to look things up for themselves and make up their own minds. So, and then after I'm continuing my little autobiographical romp.
I think that's enough for that one. He said so much good stuff. I should have been taking notes, but I already watched this. So this is like my second time watching it. I thought that it was really good. I mean, his perspective on like trying to write history from the perspective of basically the people on the ground instead of the statesmen. So it's like, the history books, the textbooks that we learn in school are so messed up. You know what I'm saying? It says, somebody says, "What's your favorite conspiracy theory?" I'm about to get into conspiracy theories right now. That's where I'm about to go. Learning about history, and how things actually happened, not from the state's point of view, but from the people on the ground, so that you can understand how things are today. And I just be screaming it all the time. So let me move on, because I feel like a lame-o, because I be saying the same shit. But I think that's the reason why I liked that video, is because the same stuff I be saying, I heard this guy saying. So anyways, let's move on then. Let's move on to the conspiracy theory stuff. Hold on. Was it this one? Give me 1 second. Yeah, I don't even know if I'm gonna get away with playing this. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. But let's see. So I really want to stop them and talk about them as we go, because they're gonna go down a list of conspiracy theories, and I want to talk about them. He says, "I like the one that Stonehenge is the feet of Easter Island's head." Stonehenge is the feet of Easter Island head. I never heard that before. That sounds pretty crazy. I don't know how that would work. Let me play some of this, and we're going to talk about it as it goes.
The world is controlled by shadowy elites and shape-shifting lizard people. Welcome to what?
What is it? The world is controlled by shadowy elites, shape-shifting lizard people. What do y'all think about that? The world is shadowy elites, shape-shifting lizard people rule the world. You there, Doc? I didn't say what's up to you. What's up, Doc? It's so cool to be able to say what's up, Doc. What's up? Hey.
People trying to sleep here, so.
Okay. Well, just type in your comments. Let me know what you think about, what did he say? Shape-shifting elites.
I'll be sending you pictures through this one too.
Okay. And send me some everything, whatever. Let me play some more.
And today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 conspiracy theories of the century so far.
Check this out. Take a look at this.
For this list, we'll be looking at the most bizarre and popular conspiracy theories that dominated the headlines of the 21st century so far. Do you theorize that we missed something? Let us know in the comments below.
If you like what you're hearing, be sure to check out the full song at the link below.
Time, it's continued to pick up momentum. While this theory has been around Number 10, New World Order. While this theory has been around a long time, it's continued to pick up momentum in the 21st century. Believers argue that despite the apparent disarray of national and global politics, the world is dancing to the tune of a single clandestine cabal.
They run the media, control the banks, invent wars, and want to start a one-world government.
Or at least, it soon will be. It's a sort of meta-theory that's able to integrate many others and provide a single explanation for world events. Oh, and according to some, NWO head, the word is that the Illuminati, Freemasons, or shape-shifting lizard people reside in the tunnels below.
Well, one may say these are the type of visitors that we have underground in our facility.
We wonder if that's where a lot of celebrities hang out, since, you know, they're all in the Illuminati.
It sounds very crowded. It does. How would they all fit with all the maintenance crews? I don't know.
Number 9, fakes.
Okay, so they said, what did they say? The Illuminati, New World Order, what did they say? The world's going to be ran by one world government. Conspiracy theory. That sounds crazy. Yeah.
Snow. We have TikTok to thank for this next theory. Just this year, someone had the idea to put a lighter to a snowball, and they were surprised to find that it didn't melt, but burned instead.
You'll see, it's not melting, and it's going to burn. Snow don't burn.
People began taking to social media and declaring that the snow was fake, manufactured by none other than billionaire Bill Gates in conjunction with the Chinese government to somehow benefit from this.
Highest setting hot. Not melting.
The process is actually just sublimation, which is when a solid skips turning into a liquid and goes straight to a gas. But that's not nearly as fun.
What's going on? Well, we're adding energy to this snow, and it's undergoing something called sublimation. That's what happens when you skip the liquid step of water and you go straight to a gas.
Number 8, the FDA has the cure for cancer. This next...
Wait. The one before was just stupid, but hey.
Theory is logical in at least one premise. It is true that Big Pharma, or the global pharmaceutical industry, has a reputation for hiking up their prices to make a profit.
Martin Shkreli is the former CEO of Turing Pharmaceutical, who's responsible for hiking the price of at least one drug by 5,000%.
Conspiracy theorists therefore latched onto the idea that it actually has discovered a cure for cancer already, but withholds it from the public in order to continue selling overpriced drugs.
Has the pharmaceutical industry's thirst for profit become a threat to our public health systems?
We're not going to defend Big Pharma, but we are going to point out that keeping a secret of that caliber is not only supervillain level stuff, but would also be next to impossible to manage.
Apparently, it's a big deal. People are calling it the crime of the century and stuff like that. But, am I upset? No, I am not. A little.
Number 7, chemtrails.
So that last one is like pretty interesting though, because they tried to say like, okay, the cure for cancer, but what is that about the cure for cancer specifically? Let me read these comments. This guy says, where's his tinfoil umbrella hat? They said there's a secret group of people trying to influence the world into a one world government they control. There's no way any American has the cure for cancer and isn't making money off of it. Right. But still, though, at the same time, not selling cures, getting you to take some pills for the rest of your life is a good way to make money. That's what I'll say. Doc says, thing is, which cancer? There are many types. Yeah, exactly. And this is not as simple as that. And that's the reason why they said cure for cancer. That's the reason why they use that, because it's like, that just sounds ridiculous, right? So, but that doesn't mean that they're not withholding, knowledge of being able to make your life better without making you have to take these pills for the rest of your life. I'm trying to be careful on what I say here. But yeah, it's a lot of stuff that they could probably make it no longer be a problem. But instead, they want to just give you these drugs so that you can keep buying them every month for the rest of your life. He says science works on peer research. There's literally zero chance there's been a cure for cancer and it's not been leaked. Yeah. Well, what Doc was saying was depending on because and then like I say, cancer is a term that doesn't it's kind of ambiguous. And I be saying that all the time, but I think a lot of people are confused with it, because when does a disease turn into cancer? Was it cancer at the beginning? What point does it switch over to cancer? You know what I'm saying? And you have these different kinds of infections or whatever. You'll get what I'm saying. Let me play some more.
One of the more popular conspiracies on the list, many people believe that the streaks left behind by airplanes are chemicals designed for a variety of functions, including sterilization, mind control, or weather control.
Followers convinced something evil and secret is going on.
See, and look at it's got that pattern.
Theorists point towards these exhaust trails as visual evidence of this poisoning, but science again explains this phenomenon, which is actually just caused by gases cooling enough to condense into clouds.
The water vapor molecules latch onto the particles like carbon, allowing the water in its gas form to collect into floating bits of liquid, or, because it's so cold, tiny ice crystals.
If a mass conspiracy was at hand, any researchers or universities would be eager to unveil such a massive cover-up. But so far, no one has blown the whistle.
There have to be thousands of people involved to move that much material. And to do that, those thousands of people would have to have some idea what was going on. And all of this would have to do something that was horrible. And there's sort of no chance that somebody wouldn't speak out with high-quality evidence.
Number 6, vaccines cause autism.
Oh, this is a scary one. Let me read the top comments. He says, cancer is a particular type of cell division. Meiosis. Meiosis, I think that's what you were trying to say. I think the mechanism behind all cancer is essentially the same. It's just the location which changes. No, it's not true, because it can develop for many different reasons and from different everything. It's totally all over the place. So something could just develop into a cancer and it wasn't before. But because I always say, I think that we're all really born with cancer. You know what I'm saying? It's like the evolution of your life and death, as far as you know what I'm saying? You turning from a baby to an adult, you know what I'm saying, into an old person. So, but the actual because you can't identify it. That's why all the cancers has different names. It's different types of cancers, and sometimes it be the result of your behavior, like smoking or whatever. Let me see. He says cancer is pretty much any growth or mutation that they cannot identify as well. That's what I'm saying. And he says that's the cause, not the mechanism. The mechanism is just, there is no real mechanism for cancer. I mean, your body is the mechanism. Your own cells. He says every cell has a limit called Hayflick's and constant before its cell division goes mad. I don't know what Hayflick's is. They said the number 6 top 10 conspiracies of the century is vaccines cause autism. Let's hear this.
This conspiracy has always been popular, but experienced a resurgence for obvious reasons since the emergence of COVID-19.
A vaccine may be with us, but it comes with a flare-up in the age-old struggle with anti-vaxxers, whose damaging narratives appear to be growing in strength.
Many people believe that vaccines cause a variety of disorders, especially autism.
Without a doubt in my mind, I believe vaccinations triggered Evan's autism. So I think they need to wake up and stop hurting our kids.
This conspiracy was born by a since retracted 1998 paper that links the two. But it was afterwards Britain's General Medical Council determines that lead scientist Andrew Wakefield acted unethically towards the children of the study and accepted money from lawyers who were at the time in dispute with vaccine manufacturers.
The doctor who started all this in the late 90s has been thoroughly discredited. He's actually barred from practicing medicine from Britain because he made up his numbers.
Nevertheless, a mistrust of vaccines has continued to plague the world despite the fact that many are mandatory to attend school in the first place. Number 5, Jeffrey Epstein was killed.
Yeah, so because I'm going to just roll right over that topic, because when I said scary, I mean scary in the fact that I'm scared to talk about that topic, because that one is really sensitive. It's the name of the researcher that discovered the limit of healthy divisions a cell can make. Okay, so Hayflick's, he's the name of the guy. It's the name of the researcher that discovered the limit of healthy divisions a cell can make. Okay, that just sounds like when you get old. Complicated way of saying. It's to do with the shortening of telomeres. Damn it, the Spanish got me all fucked up. Through replication. He won a Nobel Prize for it, I think. Yeah, so that just sounds like figuring out how the cells are telling you that I'm old or whatever, like I'm old and I'm tired, like I'm not gonna keep making healthy cell divisions, so because I think one of the things they're trying to figure out is some people feel like age is a disease that can be fixed. You know what I'm saying? And that's the same reason why I think that, because like the war on cancer is like the war on terror, because for you to really fix the cancers, like I say, I think we're born with them, but what really causes this stuff to fester is our lifestyles, our food, our behaviors. 7, 8 out of 10 of the times it's going to be that. Now, sometimes it's just going to be your body just doing something weird, because we are all over the spectrum. You know what I'm saying? But I think most of the cancers are a result of what we eat, what we drink, whatever the hell, you know what I'm saying? And building that shit up in our system and fucking festering and turning into some shit. He says, cancer is when the cells try to live forever and evolve past the Hayflick's limits. Yeah, they try to do their own thing. And so the thing is with cancer is because cancer makes your body, think those are its own cells, and your body protects the cancer and shit. And, so it's like a mind fuck that it's doing to your body, to your system, because these are invaders. These is an invaders. He says through cell growth, which is why they become tumors. Yes, outside factors, carcinogens can 100% influence the cells to become cancerous. Well, not 100%, but the relationship between them is not of the strongest and most replicated findings in science. Yeah, we know the carcinogens. Like you say, not 100% of the time, but we know that if you just eat like hot dogs all day, every day for like 20 years, you're probably gonna have some kind of weird ass cancer as a result. Hot dogs, those kind of like processed meats are the worst. This one, number 5, Jeffrey Epstein was killed. And conspiracy theory,
This might be the most widely believed conspiracy on the list, as only a small percentage of Americans believe Jeffrey Epstein took his own life. But it is nonetheless a theory due to lack of evidence.
The disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein is dead. Epstein took his own life while behind bars here in New York City while facing charges of sex trafficking.
Convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein was found dead in his prison cell while he was awaiting trial for sex trafficking. And authorities, along with the New York City medical examiner, declared his death was caused by hanging.
Was he killed? Was there a hideout? Did, one of these powerful men pay a prison guard to kill him?
Due to many mishaps by the justice system, however, many believe he was silenced by powerful people so he couldn't talk.
You're now learning of serious irregularities at this facility that are deeply concerning and demand a thorough investigation.
It's a compelling case, but there's nothing conclusive pointing to foul play.
Of course, there's nothing conclusive. And what I always said about the Epstein thing is that it looked like a straight up mob hit. Straight classic ass mob hit from like out of the movies and shit, like out of Godfather or out of, you know what I'm saying? Like straight out of a script. That's why I say a lot of the stuff we're seeing, it looked like real life skits. Jeffrey Epstein, the whole thing with Jeffrey Epstein seemed like a whole real life skit, like something straight out of The Sopranos. He says, this conspiracy theory, I believe, you have motive and the ability to do it. I agree with you, bro. Doc says, I think he was suicided because he had info on too many people, cough, Hillary, cough. But it's just a guess. I think they said he had a black book. It's funny that we haven't heard nothing about that. What happened to the black book? Whose names was on there? He says, they got a coroner to believe D'Angelo hung himself in jail in The Wire. Yeah, see? But it was a Stringer Bell hit. That's what I'm telling you, man. It's like a skit out of a movie. I swear. I swear. The whole fucking thing. Even with Ghislaine Maxwell's trial, the whole thing just looked like a movie. Of course, there's no evidence. These are really powerful people. Of course, there's no evidence. Whoever knows is probably dead. You know what I mean? You assassinate the assassin. Ain't that what they did with JFK?
Number 4, the Earth is flat. Nowhere near a new theory, it nonetheless has remained popular in the 21st century despite photographic evidence to the contrary. Some prominent celebrities have backed the conspiracy, claiming that the Earth is not a sphere like the sun and moon are, but rather it is flat and stationary in space.
You went on a podcast and you said you believe the Earth was flat. Do you actually, you want to reel that in, or you still believe the Earth is flat?
The scientist Eratosthenes actually measured the Earth's circumference around 240 BC by measuring the angle of shadows on the surface of the Earth.
How could it be, Eratosthenes asked, that at the same instant there was no shadow at Syene and a very substantial shadow at Alexandria?
However, even with contemporary science, the belief remains. Other theorists contend that the Earth is not flat, but hollow, with an entire civilization living inside our planet.
Some ancient astronaut theorists say yes, and suggest that according to our earliest mythologies, and other Earth might not be found in the heavens, but deep within our own planet.
Number 3, 5G causes diseases.
The hollow earth thing is really interesting. I ain't gonna lie. Flat earth's just stupid. I'm sorry, y'all. But hollow earth is interesting. He says, always start with motive in conspiracy theories. Yeah. And then how many people need to keep it secret? Doc says, so I wonder where the guards that night are. Exactly. I wonder. Somebody should look that up. I mean, this is probably one of the dumbest things around. Yes, I agree with that. He says, flat earth is for morons. Okay, so we're all on the same page with that. I use hollow earth for my game world, he says. Hollow earth is very interesting because science don't know that much about the earth, the center of the earth. Like it's all kind of like theories. And that's what I was talking about earlier in the show, is like the idea of theories, because they take it as facts, kind of like we'd be talking about the gravity. But certain things have to be true about the center of the earth because of like our gravitational, our the atmosphere, the fucking magnetic field. So that tells us some stuff about the center of the earth, but there's layers. And so that, there's, who knows? So there's a lot of people that wonder about that. They had that movie or book that was Journey to the Center of the Earth. So like, it was like dinosaurs and shit still there and shit. That stuff is interesting to me. And then the Native Americans, they said that they came from out of caves. Like their oldest ancestors said that they came out of some caves or some underground tunnels. And tunnels are interesting because we got plenty of those, plenty of them that they discover all the time. He says, theories are not facts. They made predictions which can test and are adjusted accordingly. Yeah. But some of the stuff they can't test. That's the problem. That's why it falls on a theory. Same thing with gravity. Gravity is still a theory. He says, my conspiracy theory, gravity doesn't exist. The earth just sucks. For example, Einstein's first theory was incorrect based off his predictions, so he revised it to Einstein's special theory of relativity. And I understand all of that, bro. You in my area, bro. Like, that's not shit. So, yeah, so that's true. But I don't really get what your point is. Because you can predict certain things happening. That's why you can say that. But, that's how we can say that, the math is good. The math works out. So that's what happens. Like you're talking about kind of like that time when, what was it? It was like he predicted how the what was it? It was a solar eclipse or something. And he did some kind of science project and proved the shit. So like, yeah, I love that stuff. But still, theory, like I say, gravity is still a theory, even though we know it happens. So he says theories are based on assumptions and tested on predictions they make. Okay. Because you can only observe the natural world to a certain extent. Right. So there is the problem. There is the problem because what you understand about, what is it? I'm trying to think of it. I'm about to say thermodynamics, but that's not it. I'm not thinking straight right now. But how, like, when they get to the microscopic subatomic level, they don't know what's going on. They can't really look at it because once they look at it, it changes what the behavior of the particles. So therefore, they don't know what the particles are doing. And it's a lot of stuff like the Higgs boson, where it's like these two particles that are, no matter how far they are apart, they mirror each other's fucking movement and shit. Like it's it's a lot of stuff we can't know because we can't see it. Therefore, it leaves it as a theory. Doc says, how did solar eclipse help Einstein? The eclipse presented a rare chance to verify one of the essential consequences of general relativity, the bending of light by gravity. Einstein's theory predicted that rays of light passing near a massive body in space would be visibly bent as they followed the curve in space-time created by the body mass. Exactly, Doc. Oh, you're talking about the Heisenberg principle. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Higgs boson particles are theorized to give mass to objects. Yeah, so I be talking about random ass shit backwards. I say the wrong names of whatever the hell all the damn time. But if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, so basically what I was saying, the reason why I mentioned that is that, you know, some things are going to be theories forever because no matter what technology we have, there's certain things that can't be seen. You know what I mean? Because seeing is touching and it's changing it. So therefore we don't know what it's like in its state without us affecting it. Thank you, bro. All right, I feel you. He says it's all right, bro. You're on Twitch, not on the science conference. Man, I'll go down as many rabbit holes as y'all want us to go down.
5G refers to the 5th generation of broadband cellular network technology. This has us asking, what's so sketchy about the number 5? No one had any issues with 4G, but 5G seems to be the harbinger of diseases like the coronavirus, according to some.
Has retirement made you go completely insane?
No, but the 5G radio waves in the air have, which you can read all about in my new manifesto, available on Kindle.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Conspiracy theorists claim that 5G wireless technology in cell phones somehow transmits deadly diseases, such as cancer, to those around them. Part of the belief is somewhat rational, as 5G does emit radiation, albeit a harmless kind.
Fortunately, 5G radiation is non-ionizing, completely different to radiation from the sun or from X-rays.
Why that dude's voice is so annoying? Yeah, I think this 5G thing. Now, I think that what somebody said in the show early one of them other days about the pollution of the different waves coming through. Now, I think that's a thing, but I don't know if like the 5G thing doesn't really like move me. He says, have you ever researched the great filter theory? Yes, I have. I don't know who you are, bro. You're smart though. Yes, I have. And I wonder about aliens. I wonder about why we don't see any aliens like that. That should scare the shit out of everybody because the math don't add up. Why isn't there any like complex life like us that we freaking able to detect? So there's something with that's scary as fuck because we haven't seen it. Whatever the answer is a scary answer. And the great filter might be the answer to that. That might be the reason why there's no other complex life forms like us. And if that's true, that means that we're doomed. He says, nah, I help clear up stuff when we are trying to find the words, name stuff like that. I find this theory compelling, to be honest. With Wi-Fi and that everywhere, it does make me wonder if they can penetrate soft tissues, etc. Well, like I was saying, I'm sure it does penetrate us. I think we have a pollution of all kinds of shit bouncing off of these damn satellites and shit, and I don't think it's healthy for us. And I don't think we know what the long-term effects of a lot of this stuff is because we have no way to test it. Like I was saying before, like how do you know how something is going to have a long-term effect on humans without testing it on humans over a long period of time? Like that blows my mind every time. Like, come on. Like that's why I be waiting around a lot of times when they come out with new shit because they be testing shit on us all the damn time because they don't know. They just literally they don't know. He says, I've never looked into it, to be honest. Well, we could talk about it if you want. I've seen a statistical model that suggests we wouldn't have any chance more than 0.5% of seeing any signs of aliens. What was that? What was that statistics based on? Doc says, if you put a car battery on concrete, it drains. Imagine what it does to the human body. I know, man. Damn, bro. You talking about concrete? And then it's that song that says they paved how does it go? Cut down paradise to build a parking lot. Some shit like that. And I was talking about rubber and how the rubber is used to separate us from, the energy of the earth. So we got the concrete, then we got the rubber on our shoes, the rubber on the bottom, the tires. Anyways, being grounded because we're electrical, right? Anyways, he says you do longitude twin studies, to be honest, where you compare the effects on two almost identical brains. Okay. It was based on how life evolved on our planet. That's interesting. That's interesting to me. But how do you know how, like I said, and these damn, I don't know about the 5G other than the fact that I think it's a form of pollution. We got a bunch of the radio waves, the microwaves, you know what I'm saying? The 5G waves or whatever fucking floating around and going through us all the damn time. I don't think that's good for us in the long term. And we're going to freaking find out about it one day. And I think that people are already starting to go and like separate themselves and like unplug. And there's a place you can go. I don't know if it's in New Mexico. There's somewhere where they don't have no like cell towers and stuff like that. He says, you can't be referencing the great scientist Joni Mitchell and Big Yellow Taxi. I don't know who you're talking about, so I could be referencing them though because I read a lot, and everything is a story in my head, so I don't be knowing where I got it from.
Nonetheless, some have jumped to the conclusion that 5G is the culprit of COVID, going so far as to tear down and vandalize 5G towers.
For police in Quebec, this has fast become a familiar sight. A cellular tower set ablaze. In 1 week, police responded to 7 similar fires, all targeting cell towers.
Number 2, COVID-19 was engineered by the media. 2020 was not only a breeding ground for the COVID virus, but for conspiracies surrounding the virus itself.
The advantage of saying false things is they don't have to be true, and so you can make them nice, easy, pat stories that are really comforting to believe. And that's what makes it really difficult to fight back against.
Another conspiracy theory involving population control of sorts. This one says that COVID is a fabrication by the media and global elite as a way to control the population through microchips and mask mandates. These have all been proven wrong many times, but the belief persists nonetheless, partly because of the distrust of government officials.
I got a solution.
That's what you said last time, dipshit.
I got a solution.
You're a dick.
South Carolina, what's up?
Nonetheless,
that
COVID
movie is
a
so
very
hilarious.
real virus that everyone should take seriously.
Allow you have to wear a mask.
There is no evidence
I'm
that
getting
the
feedback.
brainwash you. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable or dishonorable mentions. 9/11 truth. Conspiracy theories around this event continue to this day. Black Knight satellite. A NASA photo of space debris has been interpreted as an alien craft orbiting Earth. The Big Lie. Even after hand recounts and dozens of failed lawsuits, conspiracy theories about the 2020 election persist.
Tens of millions of Americans suspect this election was stolen from them.
It really was rigged against Donald Trump.
We have not seen fraud on a scale that could have affected a different outcome in the election.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest.
What's up, Pat?
I'm not sure, man. My mic is tripping. Hold on.
All right. Blood trafficking politicians. Hold on. They're going to say a couple more. Let me see. Pizzagate. Hold on. Let me see.
Make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, QAnon. What started out as a Pizzagate scandal on the website 4chan has devolved into a conspiracy involving pizza chains, sex trafficking, blood-drinking politicians, and former President Donald Trump as a savior.
But the most important defining characteristic about QAnon is that it is a political conspiracy theory. It's chiefly a pro-Trump one. QAnon followers consider President Trump their savior.
The theory went that the satanic elite would be outed by Trump and arrested en masse, but every prediction so far has failed to come true.
And Trump, who fanned the flames of Q, hasn't been in office in 10 months. Yet the wild theories that have helped fuel the movement live on, undaunted by logic, truth, or reality.
The claims have been a gift for Russian and Chinese state-backed media, which have happily amplified them.
Do you have any questions, Craig?
So does Oprah drink the same blood as Obama, or is it usually a different kid?
It's kids from all over the world.
Do you agree with our picks? Let us know in the comments. And hey, if you're a fan of this,
I know I'm gonna get in trouble for playing that shit, y'all. So I hope y'all appreciated it. What do y'all think about some of those conspiracy theories? Let me see if they have a list here. Let's see. These are the modern day conspiracy theories that people can't get enough of. Will be blah blah blah. 21st century so far. Our countdown includes secret headquarters at Denver Airport. Jeffrey Epstein was killed. The Earth is flat, and more. They didn't give a list. Y'all suck. Let me read some comments because I know it's gonna be interesting comments under here. Let me see. Somebody says, my favorite conspiracy theory is the government cares about our health and well-being. It says, you should do a video on which conspiracy theories have turned out to be true. That's kind of what I wanted to talk about. Because I think some of those they on this list are actually true.
Well, when I was watching videos earlier, and I was like, all right, you know what? I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to deal with this, but there's certain things that, because I mean, I just don't trust these people, and just like the fact checking, some of the fact checkers have been debunked on stuff, just like what was like who the people who are saying that these things are not conspiracies will probably come and find out later that, okay, well, I don't know, what we didn't find everything that we thought,
Yeah, and that's what they're gonna say. Let me read the comments. He says they paved paradise and put up a parking lot. That was the song I was trying to think of. Doc says he is, but doesn't know it. This dude says, LOL. I know who's laughing at right there. I'm behind. I sent him a link to the lyrics. Got to be the moon landings or no. QAnon is bigger than the moon landings as a conspiracy. Yeah, I would agree with you on that. Where's Area 51 in Roswell? People done got kind of lost interest on that. Look at all the alternative treatments talked about last year that are now available to the public. Yes, Doc, yes, exactly. A lot of that stuff, they're not even talking about that, but that's a thing, because they made fucking Joe Rogan look like he was a jackass. Who else did they make look like a jackass? They should apologize to these people.
Me.
They should apologize to these people. He says, or look at the Tuskegee experiments. He says, is the real difference between a conspiracy theory and the truth just a date on the calendar? That's what I was saying earlier. About 6 months. It says, this is comments underneath the video. It says, if you want to keep something a secret, then just tell people about it so it gets labeled as a conspiracy, and then no one will take it seriously.
That's one way to go about it.
Let me see.
Because
go ahead.
My thing is not just telling people about it, because I mean, like, there's some people who will actually be like, damn, like they'll, like you and I are, probably most of us will be like, I don't, look at the possibilities of it. But for me, I got to the point to where, like, if you tell a Democrat some shit, especially when it's something like dealing with their favorite people, you know, since Jeff Epstein was like close with, or supposedly close with the Clintons and whatever, like they'll believe anything that has anything to do with some negative shit with Trump. But if it's supposed to be tied to, you know, any one of
But
the
that shows the
Democrats,
power of the Democrats, and that's what I be saying. They're really powerful. Let me read
but
I
that's what I'm
mentioned
saying.
that earlier.
Yeah, he did. He said Hillary. Let me read more into this. A couple of comments are interesting. It'll probably get us going. Let me see. It says there was this funny little conspiracy about COVID being from a lab. I wonder whatever happened to that one. Another one says, I'm laughing at the way they're trying to convince and prove the conspiracy is wrong, but also making it more suspect. And this one right here, bit disappointed in the ending of Cure for Cancer slot. Instead of using a Despicable Me clip at the end, it should have been that bit from Family Guy where Carter remarks about keeping the cure a secret because there's far more money to be made in treating a disease rather than curing it. Why cure cancer in a day when you can treat someone for the rest of their lives and bill them every step of the way? And somebody in the comments was saying that they don't believe, I mean, outright cure for cancer, no, because you can't really do it. And like I said, it's like the war on terror. That's impossible. The war on drugs, impossible.
Yeah, but no, I mean, because see, certain things, because I mean, if you really understand biology, the way that the human body works, like, you know, like your body probably would go into shock if it was one thing in one moment that would kill cancer. But there is a process of repetitively taking a medicine that will eventually start to clear away the cancer cells, the bad cells, because, you know, it's got to replace itself with good cells at the same time. So it does exist. There's people who talk about it all the time. It might take a 90-day period of taking a certain type of medicine, like soursop tea.
Yeah, but I'm saying like a blanket cure for cancers because there's so many different cancers. Whichever treatment you're talking about, it's not going to work for all of them. Let me read comments. It says, I was expecting a bit more mentioning the Tuskegee experiment. They got another list. I want to play it. He says, you surely must know about it. We all know about the Tuskegee experiment, but trust me, everybody in this chat knows about it.
Well, look,
he says,
go ahead.
One more comment. It says, cause billing people for medical treatment is pretty much an American only thing. And that's true.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say that one of the worst kinds of cancer that you can get, lymphatic cancer in your, you know, through your lymphatic system, can be cleared up like totally within less than 90 days, or what, at least, you know, let's say giving it 90 days and where it has no more growth. So I would say that it's not, because I mean the way you're doing it, it's cleaning your whole body. So I would say that one can cure any kind of cancer. So I mean, but you know, what the hell do I know?
Let me read some more. It says, I never heard of a conspiracy for vaccines causing autism, and yet I came to that conclusion one day when I remembered acting socially awkward after a while after having taken a vaccine, and was healed from it after altering my diet and fasting until almost all of my fat was gone. Another one. My biology teacher, my sophomore year of high school, told us that her son ended up getting autism years into his life. He was 5 years old. She said after he got a vaccine, he ended up becoming autistic. She believed that it was the lead in the vaccines. She had a lot of negative things to say about medicine and the government and our health. She had a master's as well. So to this day, I don't, whether you believe her or not.
Well, I believe it has a lot to do with a lot to do with it. You know what I mean? You know, you can say that some people may have a genetic disposition, but in most cases it's chemically driven. And you know, maybe it's the food, maybe it's you know the formula that they're taking, giving their kids throughout the first years of their life. You know, that might have something to do with it. But I definitely it has something to do with the chemical imbalance things, whether it's because most diseases happen because of mineral deficiencies. So when you look at it from that aspect, if your body's not getting certain things, and you know, autism can be called, you know, can be caused from a deficiency, or maybe even, you know, too much of one thing, because iron is good for you, you know, to some extent, but I'm sure if you get too much, it could affect you. So that's just something I think people need to pay more attention to.
He says, how's an antibody going to affect your brain architecture? Well, who knows what else is in there that they're putting in there. I don't trust them. Doc says, the thing about it is vax are also given at the same age that children on the spectrum begin showing signs. It's a reach, but because of the timing, it's hard to prove or disprove.
Well, the testing, because I mean, how many people can you really get to do the testing? Like, you know, some way for them to, you know, I would assume there's very few people in the doctor's field that's going to even if they have a test available, that's going to test your system before you take any injection, and then your system afterwards, so that you can truly be able to see it. So I mean, that's really what the problem is. You're not science is not going to find a way to prove it or disprove it, other than just, you know, conjecture. Why they think, you know, like I said, these are theories. These are things that because even that them debunking things is based on their theories. It's not even really truly based on their science.
Yeah, I got another list. I wish they would just make the list. I could probably read the transcript, but that'll be a pain in the ass. I got another list here. I wanted to just like stop them and just kind of talk about them, the different conspiracy theories, what they're calling conspiracy theories. And then it's like, it's funny how they present this stuff, because it's like, oh, this idea is so stupid, but then they mix it in. They mix really dumb shit in with other stuff that may not be so dumb. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. My freaking charger's broken. All right.
He says, like, do you know what autism or other neurological conditions essentially work? How they work? To your friend, let me know. Science is a methodology that tests predictions about the observable world that can test it and replicate it by other people. It's not conjecture. That's what he's saying. And I agree with you. I'm a science person. I think that our healthcare, there's some of the stuff that's really useful, but it's just that the premise of profit in there causes it to be infected, you know. Therefore, I wonder about their motives, you know, every time. And like, they don't really care about my health. They just want to cash a check. They want to get some money. So it's like, are they really diagnosing me properly? Are they really, like, you know what I'm saying? Are they using the technology that they have in ways to really try to help me? You know what I'm saying? I think from Pat's point of view, like, he doesn't really trust none of it. So he's just like,
Well, I mean,
He
even
says,
when even when they're talking about it, they're talking about it from a base in which, what they believe. They're not showing us, okay, hey, here's the, and from step to step. They're expecting us to just trust what they, what they're saying, and whatever, test that, maybe they did, before or whatever. Like, I don't.
and he says economics isn't science. That's true, but you can't separate it. You have to look at things logically. Who paid for the research of whatever science that came out? You know what I'm saying?
And that happens all the time, because the people who's paying for you to do this test will say, well, I'm not gonna, if you put out all of this information, that's on you. I'm not taking any part in this
And if
thing.
science was the answer, bro, we'd already have free electricity, free energy, free fucking everything. They come up with all kind of shit, and then they don't want to use it in a way to really help people. They want to use it in a way to make money. So there goes back to economics again. Freaking Tesla wanted us to have free everything. He says that's exactly what the scientific method is, the ability to show to people how to get the same results. I agree with that. He says, like a prism, for example, you can go and see that light is made up of separate colors right now. Yes. That's high school. That's elementary. That's middle school stuff, bro. Hold on. Let me play some of this.
I mean, because I'm probably not the smartest dude in the room, but there's certain things you're not gonna get over on me on, because, like, I still know how to think. You know what I'm saying? And just because you said some fancy shit that seems, cool, it's not gonna make me get all excited, because I'm like, I still don't see this or that or whatever. So, you can kind of miss me with a bunch of that crap.
Let me play some of this.
Full of wild conspiracy theories. So much so that we couldn't just limit ourselves to one list.
Harvard study in China says that fluoride lowers children's IQ by 7 points.
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for another top 10 conspiracy theories.
Man, the fluoride one is a thing, bro.
When you connect the dots between apparently unconnected people and situations and organizations, that's when the tapestry appears and you go, whoa.
For this list, we're looking at hypotheses and theories that suggest people have hidden or brought about a certain event or situation that is usually against the law or destructive to others.
And obviously, everyone wondered if he had actually seen God.
If you don't see a theory you think should be on the list, be sure to check out our videos of the top 10 conspiracy theories of all time and the top 10 crazy conspiracy theories.
Donaldson believes that as the plane climbs toward 14,000 feet, the men below have already locked the heat-seeking weapons.
Number 10. Hitler lived out the rest of his life in Argentina.
It became pretty obvious that the death in the bunker was nothing but, well, fiction. Or maybe somebody died in the bunker, but it wasn't Adolf Hitler.
A number of conspiracy theories are attached to famous figures in history, and Adolf Hitler is no different.
This one is interesting, though. No lie. That's interesting right there. That particular one. Let me read the comments.
I was about to say the one about the fluoride is one that, like, I really want somebody to explain to me, because it's already been proven that fluoride has nothing to do with your teeth health, but they have it in all of your toothpaste, and because it was some bill was passed, like, it has nothing to do with the health of your teeth, your body. Like, actually it deteriorates it and makes it worse. So, like, somebody please tell me, where does this help any?
Why add the shit? And then it's listed as a poison, right? And then on the toothpaste it tells you to spit it out. You're not supposed to swallow it. It's like, how the hell are you gonna brush your teeth without swallowing some of the toothpaste? And then why would you put poison in something that I have to put in my mouth to clean my teeth with?
Well, I mean, the thing about it too is, like, just the fact that it enters your mouth, because, like, just because you don't swallow any of it doesn't mean that the whole time that you're brushing your teeth that it's being absorbed into your skin cells. Like,
let me read the comments. I'm behind as fuck. It says it's okay not to be the smartest guy in the room, but you can go and investigate how things work or even the principles behind what the scientific method actually is. Like IQ tests are such a load of bollocks. They're based on something called Raven's fluid matrices and haven't been part of science for about 40 years. They're so behind on a lot of that shit. I hate those fucking tests, all of them. He says it's an HR thing now. He says there was, to be fair, a huge amount of immigration to Argentina from Germany around the 30s and 40s. You can still see the influence in places like Mendoza and Rosales. So yeah, so like I said, that one is interesting. I ain't gonna lie. He said, I always heard Mustache ran off to Brazil or Argentina. He says Botox
I heard
is a poison
Argentina.
too.
Yeah, I always heard Argentina because he said something that about going back to where his origins were, and I look, I'm gonna leave the rest of it alone, but
yeah. So Hitler, I mean, he's definitely was a powerful enough person to have pulled some shit like that off. So
yeah, I mean, getting there through a submarine, yeah, of course, it's no problem. But when you're actually in cahoots with everybody that was in the World War and this, that, and the other, they let him go. Most people don't think that, at some point they just like, all right, you know what? We understand what you're trying to do, but we can't just let it go down like this. So you got to get the hell out of here. We're gonna try to clean this mess up as much as possible. You know what I'm saying? Like, but all that stuff's got to be a conspiracy too.
He says Hitler's family all lived in Liverpool, changed their names, and made a pact to never have kids. He says one of the many reasons to not like people from Liverpool.
But no, some people say that the president in Germany right now is his daughter.
Wait a minute, you talking about what's her name? I know who that is. What is her name?
Everybody knows who that is.
God damn it! Why I can't think that? Doc, please look that up. Germany's Angela Merkel. That's it, Angela Merkel. The other guy.
Yeah,
already,
I know the last name. So you're right. Yeah, Merkel. They're saying that is his daughter.
Yeah, he says Angela Merkel isn't the Chancellor of Germany, ATM, at the moment. So who is then?
Good question. And why is she not?
With the Allies closing in and the war all but over, Hitler committed suicide in his bunker with his wife, Eva Braun.
Y'all need to go down that rabbit hole of all of like him actually living
British
in the United
authors
States
Simon Dunstan and Gerard Williams have a
and how much he was influenced by the United States. That's a rabbit hole.
different theory about Hitler's end, however. They believe that the Fuhrer didn't actually kill himself, but rather escaped to Argentina, and body doubles were shot instead.
Rivorrò perché era un recién neolaureado in storia de investigar bonariamente la muerte de Hitler.
According to their book, Grey Wolf, The Escape of Adolf Hitler, the married couple settled down and had 2 daughters in South America before dying in 1962.
This was during 1947.
Estuvo Hitler ahí, sí. Estuvo 3 días. Eso yo sí. Eso yo porque mismo los choferes y todo. Padre Mónica también. Pero nosotros tenemos que callarlo la boca.
This idea has been widely dismissed by historians, though, who claim that the theory has no substance.
We got to the age of information where the truth should be out there, so let's get it out. That's what we're trying to do.
Number 9, Josef Mengele and the Land of the Twins.
But he never...
I don't know about that one. Hold on. That fucking Hitler
To the
one is
Land
interesting.
of the Twins. Historians dispute the idea that Mengele ever actually experimented with twins there.
Want you to know.
Number 7, MH370 landed on Diego Garcia.
我不知道我亲人在哪里，
都12天了，我的儿子，我的儿子在哪？
Since the disappearance of Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 on March 8, 2014, there have been a number of theories that have emerged surrounding the incident.
Whoever was piloting this aircraft was trying to avoid detection.
One theory claims that the plane was headed towards a U.S. military base on Diego Garcia in the Indian Ocean, but was shot down by U.S. forces who feared that the plane may have been attempting an attack on the base. While the FBI has disputed those allegations, the lack of an actual explanation for the disappearance means that this theory likely won't go away anytime soon.
One thing you learn in any form of accident investigation is you rule nothing out.
Number 6.
Yes, so what the fuck happened to that plane? How the hell can a whole ass plane disappear, y'all? I know the ocean is big, but damn, bro, we got mad technology. Let's read the comments. He says, that's not Hitler's daughter, LOL. It's Adolf Schultz. She retired last year. Argentines have the maddest Spanish accent ever. Los Comandantes, I think, is probably true. This also sounds fairly plausible. Plane was hijacked and flown at Diego Garcia OFC. They're gonna shut it down. That's what I think though too, and that's what I think they be doing sometimes, because when they be saying, "Oh, that's just a conspiracy theory," but then they're like, "Well, we don't really know what happened, so yeah," and then they rolled on over to the next one, and it's like, yeah, you know, we don't want to know. The American public don't want to know that our military will be willing to shoot down a plane, you know, even though it had a bunch of innocent people who were basically hostages. So then it just goes as a mystery. Whatever happened to that fucking plane, bro?
Shakespeare didn't write all his plays.
What plane are you
Could
talking
it be
about?
true that the
That
great
Malaysian plane, you don't remember that? That shit disappeared, and to this day they haven't found it. It had a whole bunch of people on that plane.
Okay.
The families were suing and everything. It was a big fucking deal. They're like, what the fuck happened to my people? How you gonna tell me they disappeared? Like, where's the plane? Where's the bodies? What happened?
I mean, maybe it had something to do with the, you know, because the pyramids that's in the ocean near the Bermuda Triangle can they
I don't think
they
was
chilling
flying.
somewhere.
I don't think they was flying over the Bermuda Triangle.
greatest writer in the English language was as fictional as his plays?
Did the most famous playwright of all time even exist? Probably yes. But he may not have written all of his plays.
It says probably yes. I love that.
You know, but see, that's the type of stuff. But you know, people talk shit about me, you know, because they're not even like the people are not even really doing the research that you would hope they would. Now, you know what I'm saying? Like, let me be a part of it. You know what I'm saying? Let somebody at least like me be a part of it. But no. But you can listen to a lot of the wording throughout that's what was killing me. Like you could tell that they didn't really do the research that was necessary to prove it wrong, right or wrong.
Yeah, so yeah, they just make this for fun. This video gets a lot of clips. It's a very popular channel, so they're just making this for fun. But that's why I picked it though, because it's perfect. And then he's like, Shakespeare, maybe Shakespeare exists. She said probably yes. So that's interesting, you know. And we be talking about a lot of stuff, Jesus, you know, and it's like a lot of these stories are like probably just like the answer she said, probably yes. So people just be like, okay, well then it's true then.
Well,
Well, it's
possibly, I know because that's the main problem through it all is that most people only research until they find the answer that they want. Like they, you know what I'm saying? If it says something that they like, they'll leave it right there and it's good enough. But they'll research even more if they hadn't quite found the answer that they want to find. So
let me read the comments. It says, didn't they shoot down a 9/11 plane? But they don't omit that. I think so. I think that's true, but they don't. That's not a thing that is out. That's not a thing that's said. I haven't heard that in no official news. It says because they should have, to be honest, if it's flying into the Pentagon, and and I think that a lot of people would agree with that.
Yeah.
He says that plane story was like lost. Yeah.
But when you find out like who set these airplanes in motion to begin with, makes you kind of feel like, I mean, can we even trust that?
He says, wait, pyramids in the ocean near the Bermuda Triangle. Let's get back to that. Tell me more.
I mean, what is it? I mean, you probably, I mean, instead of trusting me, you might want to go on and look it up because it's, I mean, they're there and supposedly that's the reason why things end up disappearing because pyramids are energy receptacles and that's all we are is energy that can make us, like you just have to go down that rabbit hole, you know what I'm saying? Because regardless of what I say, it's still worth it to yourself, to you to look that stuff up and see, what kind of information you see.
What pops up?
Number 5, water fluoridation for mass mind control.
Guys, how do my teeth look? Pretty good? Okay, great. Fluoride in the water might be helping that, but it might also be doing other things.
Fluoride helps make human teeth stronger, but some people believe that the government is putting fluoride in drinking water for another reason, to control the population.
The Telegraph points out a epidemiological study that was done there. They say fluoride in drinking water may trigger depression and weight gain.
In 1954, chemist Charles Eliot Perkins declared that anyone who drinks fluoridated water for over a year will never be the same again, either physically or mentally.
An excess of fluoride causes fluorosis, which is the eating away of the enamel on your teeth. This is indicative of what it's doing to your body on a larger scale.
During World War II, the Nazis allegedly used fluoridated water to force people in concentration camps into calm submission, or even to sterilize humans. While it's been argued that the Nazi claim is an urban myth, it's also been alleged that water fluoridation was part of a plot to enforce communism in America in the 1950s and 60s.
Countries and states are going to continue being on board with fluoridation until someone finds damning evidence that they shouldn't be, which in 70 years, no one has yet found.
Number 4, world leaders are lizard people, also known as reptilians.
Wait, the fluoride one though, and it was funny how they flipped over that so fast too, and it's like, I don't know.
They says it because I mean, there's nothing that proves that fluoride makes your teeth stronger. Nothing.
Doc says Flight 93 was the one supposedly taken down by the passengers. Theory is it was shot down and the black box was forged. Lizard people.
In simple terms, there is a predator race which take a reptilian form. They're feeding off humanity. They've turned humanity into a slave race.
Are a bunch of lizards responsible for the 9/11 attacks and the Holocaust? According to one theory, yes. In David Icke's book, The Biggest Secret, he claimed that most world leaders are actually shape-shifting reptilian beings or have been possessed by them and use horrific events to promote fear and hatred.
I have talked to hundreds and hundreds of people all over the world. I've been to more than 40 countries researching this, who have told me the same basic recurring story of seeing people, often in positions of power, but not always, change from a human into a reptilian form and then go back again. Sometimes it's for a few seconds, sometimes it's for longer.
They're also apparently between 7 and 12 feet tall and come from a different planet. What more do you need to know? Number 3, global warming is a hoax.
statistical anomaly. It's meaningless, and they actually admit this in previous NASA press releases, but they're not announcing that today.
One of the most popular and socially relevant theories on our list. This is one where people believe that global warming isn't actually happening.
The problem is this thin layer of atmosphere is being thickened by all of the global warming pollution that's being put up there.
While Al Gore and almost all scientists have provided evidence to the contrary, this theory claims that climate change is a hoax created by the government to keep the public in a state of worry and panic, making them easier to control.
According to climate change skeptic Myra Nabel, global warming is a hoax created by the European Union to damage the U.S. economy.
Some supporters of this theory also claim that technology is responsible for raising the Earth's temperature, a technology that the government is keeping secret.
Some of these alleged emails may actually hold the key or actually the clues to prove that the theory of global warming is a huge conspiracy.
Number 2, advanced knowledge of the Pearl Harbor attack.
What do y'all think about the global warming part?
Well, I mean, there's been different things that has kind of.
Oh, let me
I guess
open my
you could s-
Facebook. Go ahead.
that
I'm
might
sorry.
somewhat debunks that, because I mean, I think what they're saying is true, because I mean, there's no doubt that Earth is going under a warming, but it's not because of the reasons that they are saying. It's more so because the Earth and the sun are getting closer to each other, and it happens every so many thousands of years. So they can pretty much promote any story they want to the masses because this is just a cool thing to do right now. You know what I'm saying? Like as far as that, like they see how stupid people are, and they just go with a story. Like they came up with a good theory, which is actually it's really a good theory. But in actuality, I mean, there's global warming. The world is getting warmer because Earth and the sun are getting closer to each other throughout the spin of each other.
So you don't think that human activity has an impact on that?
If so, probably a very minute level. Is not going to be the same, at the same level of being closer to the sun. You know what I'm saying? Like, can it be possible? That's why I say it's a really good theory. I mean, it's not proven. Like, it's more so, like they know that we're getting closer and closer to the sun. That's why, some people, won't exist as much in the next 20, 30 years, 50 years because of that whole dynamic. It's too much sunlight for them. Or they have to, head for the hills. They had to the mountains again.
Let me read the comments. It says, this guy, David Ick, was a keeper for Coventry and on Sports Report, and then on the news announced he was Jesus. He says, I'd be more inclined that climate change skepticism is funded by the big energy than a secret society of scientists.
Well, no, I mean, it all comes from the global elites. What stories they're going to put out and allow to get headway. So,
those are the corporations.
Exactly.
Let me read the comment. He says, so we are in a league with the lizard people, producing a warmer environment, basically terraforming Earth for them to take over. Wow, Doc. That should go in your comic book. If you haven't put that in there, bro. That's perfect. That's perfect. You put that together. Let me see.
Oh, he's got a comic book?
Or he has I said comic book. I don't think it's a comic book. What is it, Doc? It's a thing that he's making. Shit, I'm doing multiple things at once. It's I think it's what is it? What is it that you're making, Doc? Because I don't forgot. It's like something he's writing. What is this? This is John Mitchell, The Big Yellow Taxi. So what is this? What is this related to? Because I heard Buddy mention it. So, but what is it related to? I'm gonna pull it up. John Mitchell.
Joni Mitchell. It's the song you were quoting.
Oh, they paved paradise and put up a parking lot. Oh, that's what this is. Okay. Oh, these are the lyrics. Okay.
Actually, look at the lyrics more than just the one, and you'll see there's a lot more to it than just.
Yeah, let me read them. I'm gonna read them.
Pretty deep about
This song
the
touches.
Southern Black.
This song touches me. Let me read it. I'm gonna read the lyrics. It says, "They paved paradise and put up a parking lot with a pink hotel, a boutique, and a swinging hotspot. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone? They paved paradise and put up a parking lot. They took all the trees, put them in a tree museum, and they charged the people $1.50 just to see them. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone? They paved paradise, put up a parking lot." Hold on. Let me scroll down. "Hey farmer, put away the DDT now. Give me spots on my apples, but leave me the birds and the bees, please. Late last night, I heard the screen door slam and a big yellow taxi took away my old man." Hold on. "They paved paradise and put up parking lot." That's the end. Anyways, yeah, that song is really touching. Let me read the comments.
I want to hear you say it in song form.
Me. He says, "I write stories and adventures for role-playing games." Okay. He says, "I write stories and adventures for role-playing games. D&D." I probably said it wrong. Among others.
Role-playing games?
Yeah, that sounds like... Why does that sound sexual? What happened? How did we get here?
Like I said, I kind of felt like, damn, should I have even said anything? Like,
let me pull this one up. What is this? A link to cancer? What cancer is? What is this? I don't know. I'm gonna pull it up.
Well, that's one of the things they're saying, that a lot of people end up getting cancer. Because they said that because some people think that cancer has just always existed, but there's throughout science, like, it's not like in the last 100 years is when because a lot of things were caused through this new form of doctorism, or it's a new form of science that they've gone through since they can put a patent on medications, and that certain things that's happened in our society as far as bringing electricity throughout the world and having these large transformers that emits large amounts of energy, which are frequencies that are not really set to a healthy level, and can cause cancer within the body. So that's pretty much what some people feel, that their cancer exists or may have or originated, but that, of course, there's other ways to get it as well, because of chemicals that you can put in your body or that you're exposed to that could cause cancer.
Let me read the comments. He says, "You use Monomyth, Heroes Journey, etc." I think that's a question to you, Doc. He says, "You use Monomyth, Heroes Journey, etc." Guess those are softwares. I don't know anything about that stuff. Let me read this. It says, "Cancer is a large group of diseases that can start in almost any organ or tissue of the body when abnormal cells grow uncontrollably, go beyond their usual boundaries to invade adjoining parts of the body and or spread to other organs. The latter process is called metastasizing and is a major cause of death from cancer. Neoplasm and malignant tumor are other common names of cancer." So that's what it. So like I said, that's spanning over a lot of stuff right there. It says cancer is the second leading cause of death globally, accounting for an estimated 9.6 million deaths, or 1 in 6 deaths in 2018. Lung, prostate, colorectal, stomach, and liver cancer are the most common types of cancer in men, while breast, colorectal, lung, cervical, and thyroid cancer are the most common among women.
Well, that's that because just saying that somebody has cancer of whatever organ becomes easier than explaining to someone the actual origin of any kind of disease. Because I mean, if you listen to some of the things that Sabi says, because you can't be, he wasn't fully scientific on what he was doing either, but he, it's like if you end up with inflammation in your lungs, that's sinusitis or pretty much everything was linked to some form of inflammation.
Yeah, Sibi was all about the mucus, so he was like, he was about talking about being what is it, your pH balance, and and the mucus and the acidity of it and all that. So, but look, I think it's interesting how similar like these ones that are the most common in men and women, and why they're similar. And I think that tells a story. So it says for men it's lung, prostate, colorectal, stomach, and liver. For women, it's breast, colorectal, lung, cervical, and thyroid. Those all sound very similar, right? The thyroid and liver, that's thyroid is the woman, and then it says liver and man. So that could be the same thing. Both of them have lung, both of them have colorectal. And then you got prostate for men, and then you got breast for women. And that's kind of similar in a way. And what does it say? Cervical for women and stomach for men. So, and that I would say that is very fucking similar. So what I'm saying is a lot of these cancers are the result of our lifestyles. You know what I'm saying?
No. Well, just to a very small extent, because I guess that's an easy way to get out of it, that conversation. But when you really look at the frequencies of each person's body, because some people are living in their root chakras, some people are living within their heart chakra, there's some in their crown. And when you're especially when you're in the lower levels of your chakras and they're off balance, and then those frequencies happen to cross with other frequencies that are not tuned to be at a healthy level, starts to disrupt those parts of the body, because we're giving off frequencies just like other electrical things are as well. So when the imbalance, when they interact with each other, the outside frequency can actually tune and put into place things that's in your body. But if those outside frequencies are at a level that are not conducive to the body, like you going into however many megahertz above what even the body can handle, it's going to be off balance. And that's mostly what we're finding. And I think that's what some people try to explain with the 5G towers, with the electrical grid that happens to put out more energy in certain areas because of where it's coming from. So that's really how it's really affected. And we're water, what I'm saying. We're once we start getting into a certain area, our water levels change different parts of our body. If there's more fluid in our liver, it can affect our liver more. You know what I'm saying? So
let me read comments. He says they are story structure beats. So I guess that's what Monomyth Hero's Journey. He says same thing most things from Star Wars to Gilgamesh to Avengers are based on. I ain't gonna lie, I don't know nothing about none of that, bro. Doc says, I'm currently getting ready to start putting out 45 years of adventures, games, and stories that I've written for D&D Hero, Call of Cthulhu, Hero, Shadowrun, Battletech, and a dozen other game systems. But wait, no, 2024 D&D release coming up. He says,
Doc, we might need to talk, bro, because
yeah.
We might need to talk.
I'm gonna read some more. He says, I like Lovecraft short stories. Obviously not his views, but it never played D&D. You work for D&D, or it's more for your mates in that. Cancers are the combinations of genetics and lifestyle choices. Yes, I agree with that 100%. When you have a genetic disposition, you can kind of up the chances of things happening through environmental exposures. Exactly. I completely agree with you. Those two comments. He says, I spent several years running games for a living, 91 and 96. I've had a couple of articles published in Dragon as staff writer, but the rest is all my stuff for conventions, game shop, games with friends. So do you use any Campbell's beat structures from the Monomyth? Or does it not translate across the RPG experience? Depends on what the player wants to experience. Y'all having a conversation within yourself. Or the storyline itself. I use the traditional art, but the players trailer the story by their interaction. It says a sociologist called Joe Campbell amplified hundreds of cultures, myths, and legends and found all the common beats or patterns in them, and now films such as Star Wars replicate them. Okay, thanks for explaining that for me and the audience. Yeah, sounds good. D&D, I've always fancied giving it a go. I want to go back to the conspiracy theory list here before we get way too far off.
Big Bomb, get up! Get up!
The U.S. government has been the target of several conspiracy theories throughout its history, with one of the biggest revolving around Pearl Harbor.
FDR certainly did have a motivation to deliberately withhold vital intelligence from Pearl Harbor.
This theory suggests that President Franklin Delano Roosevelt knew about the planned Japanese attack in December 1941, but decided not to act because he needed an excuse to get the Americans into the Second World War.
To overcome this premeditated invasion, the American people in their righteous might will win through to absolute victory.
This theory gained some traction because the American public and Congress were overwhelmingly against joining the conflict at the time. But it has largely been dismissed by historians.
Everyone who worked on it at the time has said then and since that we simply were not far enough along to read any of these Japanese naval messages for intelligence.
Before we unveil our number one pick, here are some honorable mentions.
We got to
wait. That Pearl Harbor screams false flag. I'm sorry. It screams it. It screams false flag. He says, it's called Monument's Hero's Journey and deals with rituals and metaphor for entering adult society. Now it's used in something called the Save the Cat 2 from the structure of any film made in the last 30 years. Well, interesting to Google. I'm definitely going to look into that, bro, because I like to write. I write too. So that is very, very, very interesting to me.
This is saying there's missiles coming up from 2 or 3 different places.
I'm 100% convinced that missiles were fired that night.
Notice how Jesus and Mary are clothed. Mirror images of each other.
The mind sees what it chooses to see.
But if you see creatures from another world, it's only the workers having a little fun.
The Rothschild Zionists took control of Israel, where they've been ever since.
Number 1, New World Order.
NASA is attempting to implement a new world order, using organized religion as a means of controlling the masses. At the core of Project Bluebeam is the establishment of a global New Age religion.
The most powerful people in the world might not be lizards, but they may be part of a secret organization, at least according to this conspiracy theory.
World is mine for the taking. Make me king.
God damn it! I can't. I don't know how they get away with playing those songs, bruh. I can't play that shit. I'm gonna stop it right there. They're gonna be on my ass for that shit.
Fuck them.
They gonna take the damn channel. I won't be able to fucking. They'll close Facebook. They'll close YouTube. I'll be on Rumble and Twitch only. Let me go back.
We could
and
always
just-
become Democrat shields, and we can stay up all year long with no interruptions.
Yeah, I want to make a website, but then I have to send everybody to there. So, but I have to build a big enough audience to be able to drive some traffic to a website. Otherwise, they're not gonna find me. They're gonna never see me. I ain't gonna get no views at all.
I hear you.
Let me read some comments underneath the video that we watched. It says, I like how she says it has been dismissed by historians like they have never been wrong. In fact, historians will dismiss facts from people actually involved in historical events.
Before they even before the actual story gets told, they decide what they're gonna add or
Wait. I know you was there, but let me tell you what happened.
Yeah, and look this how the story gonna go. Like Rondell said, and this how the story go.
Let me read some more. It says the greatest and most successful conspiracy of all time is that of a group of conspirators who conspired to make anyone who claimed that there was a conspiracy of any kind seem crazy. That saw to it that the most bizarre and ridiculous theories were publicized. So now anyone who claims there is a conspiracy will be deemed insane and ridiculed. By doing this, they were free to conspire to do whatever they wanted, and if anyone caught wind of it and attempted to reveal the conspirators' plans, the claims of a conspiracy will not be taken seriously. Man, I think that's what's happening. Another comment, it says, the Hitler one is true. When I was a kid, I used to mow his lawn, and he would pay me in peanut M&Ms.
I wish that was true.
Let me see. It says, I grew up going to the Denver airport several times a year. The place is absolutely insane and honestly slightly terrifying. The murals and the decorations are disturbing, as well as the miles and miles of tunnels underneath. Let me read. This is a replies underneath that comment. It says, I'm with you. The airport gave me the creeps every time I had a layover or even just a connecting flight. I couldn't have got out of there. I was in the USAF during the time of each occasion that I visited the airport in Denver, and haven't been around or in many places designed specifically to facilitate aircraft. I know of no other airport, airbase, or airfield, and there were hundreds of them all over the world. Let those freaking murals and quit a few other things out of the place or irrelevant to flying. Let me see. They don't exist. There's no reason to have post-apocalyptic murals adorning the walls of the airport because he has nothing to do with the air travel, airports, passengers. It has to do with the oppression of men as a byproduct of war, leaving the survivors the task of trying to rebuild the human race. According to those murals, it doesn't look very much like they're going to get the job done. I know that I've gotten long-winded, but I knew so much about that Denver airport that I've forgotten over the years. Step inside information, like what are the tunnels really for? Is there really a subway down underneath there that the 1%ers of the earth used for private transportation to other airport facilities? And somebody else says, I remember flying into there and seeing so many sick and satanic things. I spent the entire first day of there Googling about it. What a deep dive into the rabbit hole. See, I didn't know nothing about this, so now I'm going to have to look this shit up about that airport in Denver. Because just from, y'all can't even see what I'm reading. But just from that fucking, I meant to be sharing screen. But just from that, like those comments that the people said was like, makes me, if you go to a place and it makes you feel some kind of way, bro, like shit, that there's something there. That can't be dismissed. I'm making some comments here. I forgot Gandalf was in the Da Vinci Code. Was in the Da Vinci Code. That wasn't Gandalf. Joseph Campbell, the hero with 1,000 faces. Black Cinder saved the cat book. You're Republicans, more like the right leaning on some issues, left on others, but the far side either way is generally funny. Paul might be going to Man City on a free. All right, Gary Larson. Politics in America is absolutely batshit crazy. I don't know where I'd be out there. Where you from, bro? Larson is cool. I lean more towards Bill Watterson. Man, that's crazy how y'all are doing that, because it's very few to. Am I in a situation where I have people talking over my head?
I've been lost. So I don't know what the hell they're talking about, but just because it's stories, like, because I mean, you know, I'm a businessman. You want to sell the story?
I can help you with that.
Let's talk about it.
Let me read some more comments underneath the video. It says, I remember many of my English teachers and professors, including my philosophy professor, talked about how Shakespeare could have been a real person, whilst they smiled when the class found out this information. I think teachers like to see the reactions of students sometimes. The whole thing about Shakespeare, and then they're like, Shakespeare may have not written all of his plays. Like, okay. Like, it's so crazy. All of that shit is retarded. Let me read some more. It says, I still remember Mangela being called Dr. Death instead of Angel of Death. There was nothing angelic about him, and he was cruel, cold as ice. Don't know why calling him Angel.
Some people will say the same thing about Satan.
And it says, and he was a doctor, and in my timeline, I clearly remember his nickname as Dr. Death.
Yeah, that's to say, I meant Lucifer.
Yeah.
From what I understand, they're not the same thing, same entity.
Couple more comments. It says, I have never met a conspiracy theorist who makes me go, yeah, you're smart enough to have figured out something that fools everyone else. That's a good point. Let me read another one. It says, the number of conspiracy theories increased significantly in relation to 3 technical achievements. First, radio and television. Second, space travel. Third, the internet. The next boost will be in virtual reality technology, when everyone will have their own conspiracy theory.
Well, see, but you know, what other grand way can you confuse or inform the populace with propaganda, or whether it's real or false? I mean, regardless of what side of the story you're hearing, other than TV, radio, and that shit. Now the internet, like, it's lightning speed. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't even have to wait for the nightly news to come on to get your propaganda. Or you know what I'm saying? You can get, like, you and your best friend could be having a conversation and being programmed with some propaganda. So I mean, yeah, I mean, what do you expect? I mean, when people didn't have those types of communication, no, I mean, most people did not live with those different bullshit ideas, or whether I say bullshit because some of it I would assume is, but I think a lot of it is true. I mean, these stories usually come out of something.
There's got to be, like, it's some of them anyways.
Yeah.
And they love to twist that shit. Let me read some more comments. It says, it always makes me a bit frustrated when I watch a video knowing that the thoughts in them are now debunked. It's rather strange how I see it in my lifetime, such as when we stopped teaching that there are 9 planets in Earth's solar system. So much changes so fast. At this point, maybe nothing should be called facts, but ideas, LOL. Weird to watch. I sympathize with that comment.
I know, bro. I mean, look, anybody that thinks for themselves is going to have that, I believe going to have a similar sentiment, because it's like, you mean to tell me, like, all this stuff is just in my head? You know what I'm saying? Like, me and people who, have gone through that same rabbit hole. It's just us. We're the crazy ones.
Couple more comments. It says the honorable mentions about the protocols of the elders is 100% true. They didn't want to give this one much attention because people might look into it. 100% true.
Yeah. But look how funny, how weird it is that people who actually do research are the people who end up being called conspiracy theorists and crazy. You know what I'm saying? People who actually research, and you've gone down these different alleys, down and right back through, come back through. We're the ones, but the people who don't give a shit about the world, or can really kind of, I guess, walk around without wanting to understand the world, how we got there. Those people are completely sane. That's the part that I don't really, because they don't give the effort to even find out. They're sane, but the ones who work and try to like actually research, they're crazy.
Let me read some more. It says the last one has an overwhelming amount of evidence. It is real, especially in recent times when multiple politicians have accidentally said something about it. Be safe. Another one says, I love the line, when you connect the dots between unconnected people and organizations, you see the shit you're looking for. Another one says, one of my favorite conspiracy theories is that the moon is a space station and that's where the aliens are.
But look. Let me say this, because I guess one of those conspiracies was a theory of fact that I guess bothers me the most is the one with Epstein. My thing is, if regardless if he killed himself or somebody killed him, why did he have to die? Like, what was happening so bad that even, like, let's say if he killed himself, why at that point did he have to off himself if everything was perfectly fine? You know what I'm saying? Like, if there was nothing wrong with what they were doing, I don't know.
You guys have read a lot of philosophy, bruh. I'm an anthropologist. I only dabble in philosophy. You guys. Anyways, let me go back to my comments because I ain't on y'all level on that shit.
Did you hear what I asked?
What did you say? Because I'm sorry, I was reading their conversation they're having in the comment section. Go ahead.
No, I was saying the whole thing with Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
If there was nothing that was going on, why did he have to die? Whether he killed himself or if somebody killed him, like, why, if it was no big deal of what was happening on his island or whatever, why did he have to die at either his hands or someone else's?
Why did he have to die?
Whether what I'm saying, because they're saying that, okay, nobody killed him, he killed himself. So the question becomes, why did he have to die? Regardless at whose hands that he died at, why did he have to die?
Right. I mean, this guy is. I mean, if I was him, I'm thinking I'm finna beat this case. I got a black book. I got connections. I got money. The law works in my favor for people like me. I'm finna beat this case. Why the fuck would he kill himself? So no, I don't think so. Another comment, it says, watching this in 2016 and we still haven't found flight MH370. That's fucking crazy. With all the technology and satellites, we can't find the fucking plane. That's ridiculous. That's what I was saying. Like, all the way ridiculous. They didn't even explain that in this video that we played. The damn plane still fucking missing? Hell, a whole plane be missing. I don't. How does that happen?
Because I vaguely remember this, but it's been a while. So I guess I
One said, when I saw the sign that said entanglement, all I could think of was Will and Jada Pinkett Smith.
Oh shit.
It says, what, Mom? Are a bunch of lizard people controlling the human population? My mom, yes. Another one says, well, I mean, Germany was really close ally of Argentina since the 1870s. Another one says, I love how silly people can be when it comes to conspiracy theories. I mean, lizard people controlling the world. What the hell have those guys been smoking?
I don't know. Give me some.
Let me read some more. I love these comments. They're great. It's awful convenient that Pearl Harbor's aircraft carriers were out in the open sea during the attack, you know, because they all inexplicably decided to go out for drills in unison, and because the loss of aircraft carriers would be too much of a price to pay for into the war. It says, this visitor somehow explained the way aliens have been genetically altering the development of our DNA from our very beginnings, and that they inspired our great spiritual leaders. Although I find it hard to believe conspiracy theories, and I find that there's no conspiracy theorists I've met online willing to have a civilized conversation, distrust of governing bodies and other groups is to be expected, and I think that conspiracy theories are justified in no trusting these groups, as they aren't always reliable. If anyone is reading this and they believe in a conspiracy, make sure you're looking at the situation from an unbiased perspective. My problem is that as conspiracies can be dangerous, and an untrue can cause people to act in dangerous ways, and if unchecked could be detrimental to society. If you were in charge of a country and people were looking at information and believing in something you know not to be true that affects their safety and other safety, how would you react? Would you leave it there? That's the problem. It's hard to tell whether a view is suppressed because it's actually dangerously misinformed, or because the people in charge are controlling information and are trying to hide something. The
Sounds
first
like
is,
somebody that works for the government.
yeah, I ain't gonna lie. The first is more believable unless you went into the analysis of the situation looking for a conspiracy. That's the way you'll see. Yeah, it definitely sounds like somebody who's like telling you not to be a free thinker. Don't question nothing. Don't question the narrative.
Yeah, have the bias. No, you can look, you can research stuff with a bias. But at the same time, don't just believe shit. Yeah, I get it. Look, it's good. That's some good. I guess good shit.
Oh, Doc
Advice.
sent me.
Yeah, I guess that's some good advice, but at the same time, it's like, look, bro, I'm just some of these things, like, you're not, you weren't original, like, you weren't going to look for that shit. Like, you were online doing something totally different, and then it's just like, what the hell is this? You know what I'm saying? Like, stuff you run across, then you start kind of looking into it. So it's not like, you know what I'm saying, like, I got some ulterior motive that I'm trying to make something into what, the information that I'm finding. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't start this whole thing to try to present to somebody some bullshit, because I'm just like, I didn't give a shit about whatever the conversation is on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't give a damn about Jeffrey Epstein. Just because, since that's one of the ones that pop across my mind more than others. But I didn't even know who the hell he was. But then as I find out more, and you see all of the connections and then everything else, I mean, what am I supposed to do now? I'm supposed to just say, oh, whatever, the world is screwed up, and it's just gonna be like that. I don't know.
Y'all got my brain going with the philosophy. Ain't gonna lie. I'm just over here thinking, fuck it. I'm thinking about nihilism. I don't know what to do now because my brain, I can't freaking focus because they having a conversation over my head and it's kind of beating up my ego a bit over here.
Well, look, y'all go ahead and have fun, man. I'm gonna go ahead and bite the dust.
All right, you gonna check out?
Well, I didn't work on my business at all today. This new one, and I'm just I want to get a little more rest. That way, when the sunlight comes up, I can actually do some shit. Because I'm only off. Maybe you could call this half a day. Got to pick up a load at 1 o'clock tomorrow, like an hour away from here. So whatever I'm gonna get done, it's got to be before 11:30.
All right, man. We got
Eastern time.
Yeah, we gotta get you some rest, man. Get you some rest. Shit, my ass might need to work in the morning. I don't even know. I gotta check my schedule.
Yeah, like I didn't even have an alarm set, and I just so happened to wake up and like, oh damn, they on, and jumped in here. So, but
all right, man.
Yeah, man. Look, it's good. Chatting with you guys. Doc, you got my number, bro. If you wanna, we maybe should talk. You can call me whenever you have free time. Cause
I posted in the text group. This is Doc's number. I'll do it again next time something pops through.
I say, bro, I'm sorry. A lot of times I don't understand what you're saying.
He said he posted his number on the group chat.
No, I saw that. That's why I was saying, like, I'm sure he has my number. You can call me on pretty much almost any time during the day. So just when you have a window, hit me up, because we can discuss some things on your art.
Cool. Let's get past Mother's Day, because I'm going to be working my ass off till then.
That's fine. Like I said, when you have an open window, no set schedule. I'm doing shit too, so
All right, man. Get you some rest, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna holler at y'all. Y'all peace and love, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.
All right. Can y'all explain this to me? The comment right here says the most mental theory I've heard is the most mental theory I've ever heard is that the shiny thing in the briefcase in Pulp Fiction was one of the Silmarils from Lord of the Rings. That's fucking interesting as fuck right there to me, bruh. That's some interesting shit right there to me. I love Lord of the Rings. I love Pulp Fiction. And I love the idea of how the fans be kind of like tying movies together and shit, like that maybe not supposed to be, but interesting stuff like that. He says 90% of what I learn is the random shit that pops up as I get sidetracked on things, with like 43 pages open and I can't find the freaking one window that with sound playing. Yeah, bro. I close my windows. I got a habit of I do the same thing, and then as soon as I get frustrated, I just start closing stuff. He says, Lord of the Rings book and that, bro. Yeah, not just the films. I never read the books, so I ain't gonna lie to you. I watched all the films. I never read any of those Lord of the Ring books. I ain't gonna lie, they look kind of scary. They so big. I do read big books like that, but when it's like the fantasy type stuff, it kind of hard to hold my attention. He says, watch the TV show later this year. I ain't gonna lie, I would check out those books though. I think I'm more patient now. When a lot of that stuff was out, I didn't have the patience that I have now to, take those long journeys, He says, The Lord of the Rings is like the epilogue of 7,000 year story. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I saw the book and I was looking at it and I was like, damn, it's intimidating. I've read them and Silmarillion and Farmer Giles of Ham. Farmer Giles of Ham. I haven't read Farmer Giles of Ham. What's that? Don't get me the line. I ain't gonna lie to you. Doc, what the hell is Farmer Gaza ham? Try to take control of this. Shorter book by Tolkien. I'll let y'all do y'all chat and maybe I'll play. I have another conspiracy theory video, I think. Just like these. Hold on, let me see. And then y'all could chop it while I play this because I need to take a quick break anyways. Yeah, I'm gonna play this and y'all give me a second. I will be right back.
Strange.
He also believed that the sun was only 32 miles across, not 860,000.
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 bizarre alternate theories of history.
The human race will become one family, and the world the abode of reasonable men.
For this list, we're looking at those theories that people once or somehow still do believe about the past. However, we're not including prophecies, such as the prediction of the end of the world in 2012.
Now, the victims, and we've seen many, are said to have adhered to the Mayan Quiche calendar, which predicts the end of time to occur on the 21st of December of this year.
Nor are we including creation myths, like the idea that we all live on the back of a turtle. Number 10, the garbage theory. Many bizarre theories of history involve aliens in one way or another.
The secret of electricity was given to the Egyptians by the extraterrestrials.
But none is as gross as the garbage theory. Suggested by Thomas Gold of Cornell University, this theory states that humans essentially evolved from garbage that was left on Earth by visiting aliens thousands of years ago. We guess this could explain why humans produce an enormous amount of trash. Perhaps it's just in our DNA.
And launch the garbage into outer space. Some experts claim the ball might return to Earth someday, but their concerns were dismissed as depressing.
Number 9, the zoo hypothesis.
Yeah, the system zoo can enlighten you.
From one alien theory to another, the zoo theory suggests that aliens not only exist, but are also completely aware of the human species on Earth. It even goes so far as to say that aliens won't make contact with us until we reach a specific technological, political, or ethical standard. Essentially, we're like animals in a zoo. If the animals had no idea they were being watched by thousands of people.
It's fake. It's all for you.
I don't understand.
And the sky and the sea, everything. It's a set.
I don't
it's a
believe.
show. Everybody's
You'll be
watching
all right.
you. Please don't listen to him.
Lauren.
He's gonna lie to you. Watch this right now.
Number 8, the Matrix theory or simulation hypothesis.
Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy?
They keep playing these big freaking popular fucking songs, bruh. And I'm getting tired anyway. Thanks for being here, Darius. He says, GG, lads. Enjoy the rest of your stream. I wonder where he's from. Thanks for being here, brother. Freaking philosophy reading ass people. Yeah. Y'all done read books I haven't read and made me feel some kind of way, ain't gonna lie. But that's cool though. We're building a community, so that's what it is. You know, we all learning here, you know, and I don't know everything, but it's like, I ain't gonna lie, I'm usually, you know, the one that's talking about books that people ain't read. So it's just a kind of awkward feeling for me. He says, I'm guessing England. Yeah, because he used lied, possibly. That's cool though. The show is around the world, man. A lot of people in India be checking out the show, so it's like we are worldwide on here, bro. I'll tell you, anybody could be checking it out anywhere around the world. And I think that because of the times that we be on, because we're in the middle of the night, I think that that's one of the reasons why we be getting people from India or whatever. I think it's because of the damn time zones and shit. I was thinking about that. One day I'm gonna map that out and look at it and see. I would love to see what times, like the times that I'm on, what is the time in other countries related to where my views are. That would be a great little thing for me to now analyze. I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting tired. I worked earlier, and I work tomorrow. I don't know if I work in the morning. I might work in the morning. I need to check my damn schedule. He says we are GMT -6 here, if I am not mistaken. But what does that mean? What does that mean for the time? Like it's 3 a.m. where I am, Central Standard Time in the United States. What time is it in India and all that shit? So like, yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap it because I'm tired and play the game a little while and wind down. Greenwich Mean Time. That's what the GMT stands for. Yeah, but what does that mean? He says line goes through England somewhere. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap it, y'all, because I'm tired and I can't even think straight. I don't know what the hell I want to talk about. I could scroll Instagram for a minute. Maybe something will pop up there before I wrap it. Give me a second. Beep. Beep. Can we refresh this? All right. Okay. I'm sharing screen. But Mother Jones. Biden needs to start getting creative to protect abortion rights. Here's how, by Madison Pauley. Okay. Men who are family-oriented and hard-working need their devoured. Well, I like that lady. It says, Mysteries of the Universe Explained by Sharks. That's cool. That's cool. Let me see this. Please do not sit on the pool table. Pretty cool. I like it. What's going on there? When your sarcasm is so advanced, people think you're stupid. The problem of being faster than light is that you can only live in darkness. Ooh, that's kind of heavy. But I ain't gonna lie, it says when your sarcasm is so advanced, people think you're stupid. A lot of shit I say is people think I'm stupid as hell, but I don't know if it'd be because of sarcasm. Looks like that guy's really dead. It says 42 Doug went on the run after he claimed he was a sovereign citizen immune to federal laws. Troubled Detroit rapper 42 Doug claimed he was a sovereign citizen immune to federal laws, said he was worth $11 million and had help hiding from federal agents during multi-state manhunt, prosecutors said. Federal records recorded jailhouse phone calls and courtroom testimony during 42 Doug's failed attempt to get bond Thursday, provided an insider's view of weeks-long hunt that involved a secret spy gadget, positive cash, drugs, and rapper on the run. Wow, sounds like a movie storyline. The rapper, real name Dion Hayes, was the target of a prolonged federal search after failing to report last month to a federal prison camp in West Virginia to serve a 6-month sentence for illegally possessing a firearm. Hayes, 27, was arrested Wednesday after flying to Willow Run Airport aboard a private jet from Memphis, where he attended an NBA playoff game between Memphis Grizzlies and Golden State Warriors. I guess he had to go to that game. Explosive agents were monitoring his movements. Explosives. Am I reading this right? Hold on. Okay, Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosive Agents were monitoring his movements after obtaining a search warrant allowing them to track the location of his cell phone. They caught him at approximately 4:45 a.m. Wednesday evening, though his name was left off of the flight's passenger manifest, and found the rapper with enough money and jewels to bankroll a flight from justice, prosecutors said. When he was arrested, he had $25K in cash and more than $100K in jewelry, Assistant U.S. Attorney Barbara Lanning said. Rapper's not making that much money. He sounds like a drug dealer to me. So to Republicans, a 12-year-old is enough to be forced to give birth, get married, or shoot an assault rifle, but is too young to say gay or see bad words in a book. Let me read that again. It says, so to Republicans, a 12-year-old is enough to be forced to give birth, get married, or shoot an assault rifle, but is too young to say gay or see bad words in a book. Doc, I know you got comments on that one. Let me see. 171 comments. It says a girl in the 4th grade can be forced to have a child, but is too young to read about slavery. You know, where one human owns another human's body. Make it make sense. It says, and she's too young for abortion, yet somehow she's old enough to raise a baby. No logic there. And they think teachers are the ones indoctrinating people. She can have a baby, but isn't mature enough to be educated about how babies are made. Makes no sense at all, but of course they never do. What he said, the bill is for 8-year-olds and less, not 12-year-olds. Fred Savage was fired from producing The Wonder Years due to conduct on set. Random photo. This looks like an ad. Oh, that's cute. Debauchery. Chris Rock to Dave Chappelle. I got smacked by the softest N-word that ever rapped. That's pretty funny. I saw that meme going around. What is this? Hold on. Tulsa and Amazon among companies that will assist employees with costs related to abortion. That's interesting. Would you stay if your partner cheated on you? Hold on, is there another photo? Coi Leray defends Eminem following Benzino's Rock and Hall of Fame outburst. That whole thing is stupid. I'm not going to do that. It says, tell me why my hospital bill.
I haven't heard anything about that.
About what? The Benzino stuff?
Something going on with Eminem since the whole news of the Super Bowl, which nobody really gave a damn about.
No, it's not that. It's related to Benzino and his daughter and some shit about Benzino talking about I'm the greatest rapper or some shit or some. It's stupid. It's just dumb. It's nothing. This says, tell me why my hospital bill went from $4,000 to $950, all because I asked them for a receipt and a list of everything I was being charged for. They lowered my bill by 76%. Is it me or our healthcare system is a scam? I wonder if that really works. I never tried to do that, but
So it gave them the non-insurance price.
yeah, I never tried to. Well, where I go to the doctor is a place for immigrants, so it's like that's why everything has like base prices. So it's like it's like a community thing. So like it's nonprofit, so everything is at cost. Let me read this. It says, the anxiety is lying to you. You are doing great and you are going to be successful. 2 months from now, you will be in much better situation. Why did I read that?
Hey man, send me a address or name of that place, because yeah, I could use some of that.
Yeah.
No, I mean that healthcare place that you go to.
Oh, the place that I go to? Oh, okay. Yeah.
I could use some of that as cheap as I can get right now. I got to try to get the health card, the Harris County card too.
Well, it's right over there by the Social Security office. What is that? Stancliff. It's like Belfort and what is that? 59 or the Beltway is not far from there. It's I think that's 59 in the Beltway right there, like West Belfort. What is it called? What is the name of the place? I have to look it up. I have it somewhere, but I've been going there for years already. I don't know how I ended up finding that place, but I've been going there for years. I take my daughter there too. So they do everything dental. They do everything. They got a little PD. They got a kids place. It's a different building. So yeah, and they literally do everything from teeth to whatever and whatever procedures, because they have specialists on different days of the week. So if you need to see a specialist, then you just schedule your appointment for the day that they're going to be there. And be prepared to hang out in that hole, because it's not no fast process. But you pay cash. I mean, it's not that slow, but shit, it's not like well, anytime you go to these damn kind of healthcare stuff, it's always slow. So fuck. It's kind of like, it's not as slow as going to the ER, not like that kind of slow, but not as fast as it would be if you're paying for like a really nice place, because it's gonna be other people there and they're gonna get everybody, and they're kind of a little bit unorganized, so they might even forget about you. So you might want to go back there and remind them, hey, y'all supposed to call me. What happened? I already paid and everything. Oh, okay. I had to do that a couple times, I ain't gonna lie. But I don't like getting ripped off, I just want to pay for whatever the hell I got going on, whatever I want to do. I'll look it up and I'll send it in the group chat. He says, I went to a regular dentist right now. He would tell his secretary to call his travel guy. He's going to Jamaica this year. Telling you, bro. That's why I haven't got my teeth fixed. It's so expensive. So I'm going to find a way to fix it without having to pay so much. But, I don't know. I don't know if they do that at that place where I'm talking about, because the dental work that they do is all about, like, your health and shit. I don't know if they do the cosmetic type shit. Maybe they do. I should find out. Can't believe this guy died just like suddenly like that. It's weird times we live in. U.S. judge dismisses Trump lawsuit challenging his Twitter ban. DJ Khaled. Oh, that guy who, do I have that? Let me check my thing if I see if I have that. Watch that before we go. Because that guy who grabbed the old lady by the arm and broke her arm. Oh yeah, here it is right here. That guy went to jail. Check it out. Man accused of killing his wife wins GOP primary from jail. Oh no, this is different. But this is interesting still. It says, man accused of killing his wife wins GOP primary from jail. An Indiana man who is accused of killing his cancer-stricken wife as she was seeking a divorce won his GOP primary this week from jail and will be on the ballot in November if he is not convicted. Andrew Wilhoit was charged in March with killing his wife, Elizabeth Nikki Wilhoit, 41. She had completed her last chemotherapy treatment for breast cancer and was seeking a divorce after she found out her husband had been having an affair according to the Lebanonian Reporter. When the Lebanonian Indian couple got into a domestic dispute in late March, Andrew Wilhoit allegedly struck her in the head with a concrete gallon-sized flower pot and placed her in his car and dumped her body in a nearby creek, according to Indiana State Police. Despite the circumstances surrounding his wife's killing, Wilhoit, who initially lied about her whereabouts, but later admitted to killing her after she attacked him, according to prosecutors, won his Republican primary on Tuesday for one of the 3 open seats in the Clinton Township Board. That's interesting stuff right there. But that's not the one I wanted. I wanted the guy who, it's not here. Freaking fracking fruck. It's not here? Nope. The guy who, the police officer. Let's search for this. The police officer, they're sending him to jail.
Give me more words to look to. I don't have enough words yet.
Yeah, I'm searching right now because I don't remember. Police officer sentenced after let's say 4, I don't know, the old lady's breaking old lady arm. I'm gonna do it like that. I don't remember either. It'll pop up. Damn it, it's not popping up. Damn, you're surprised how much this shit be happening. Oh, wait. I think this is it. One day ago. This is probably it. I think this is it. Hold on, let me see.
You want text or a link to a video?
Link to the video. You send it through the Facebook.
Yeah, I'm trying to find one that's not.
Is this it? I think this is it.
Former officer Austin Hopp. That officer was sentenced to 5 years in
I think
prison
this is it.
and 3 years parole with his involvement in the controversial and forceful arrest of Karen Garner in June of 2020. Now, you may recall Karen Garner was taken forcefully to the ground by former Loveland police officer Austin Hopp after she allegedly attempted to steal less than $15 worth of goods from a local Walmart. He's seen on body cam footage throwing her to the ground, breaking her arm, breaking her collarbone, and then taking her to a holding cell where he left her for hours without any medical attention, even though she was calling for that assistance. Today in court, Austin Hopp addressed the judge and the family, apologizing for his actions, saying that they were inexcusable. But at the same time, he says he was not in the right mental state to be a police officer in June of 2020. His words were, quote, "I shouldn't have been on the street," end quote, because he said he was going through a lot of mental distress at that time. At the same time, he apologized to the family for the actions he did and also for the trauma that he caused.
This dude is just talking.
2 former police officers turned themselves in, as we first heard at.
That's not it.
After an hour of different.
And we start this evening in a courtroom in Loveland. That's where a former police officer was sentenced today to 5 years in prison. The legal problems for Austin Hopp began with the release of this video. It shows him on duty assaulting a 73-year-old woman who lives with dementia. The officer had heard Karen Garner didn't pay for a few dollars in merchandise at a nearby Walmart. CBS 4's Dylan Thomas covering this case since the beginning, live in Loveland right now. And Dylan, we know Garner suffered serious injuries, and you were able to talk to her family about this.
And Jim, we also, for the first time today, heard from former Officer Hopp.
These damn talking heads are annoying as hell.
Earn his fate before a judge. Now a convicted felon, former Loveland police officer Austin Hopp appeared in court Thursday to learn his fate. Before a judge, the family of Karen Garner asked for the court to impose the maximum sentence of 8 years in prison under the plea agreement. Hopp, for the first time, spoke about the case. He told the judge he was in a distressed mental state in June of 2020 when he threw Garner to the ground, breaking her arm and separating her shoulder. He told the judge his world was falling apart, and he was unable to assess the delicacy of the situation because of that, telling the judge it wasn't a matter of if an error of this proportion would happen, but when. The judge said his actions were inexcusable and sentenced him to 5 years in prison.
finally felt like he was being held accountable.
Karen's family said they supported the sentence.
Today, the DA really stepped up to the plate and felt like they were wanting justice for my mom, and it happened.
DA Gordon McLaughlin said the sentence should send a message to both law enforcement and the community.
Excessive use of force will not be tolerated. That treating members of our community inhumanely will not be tolerated. That lacking to get folks medical attention will not be tolerated. And that celebrating such behavior will not be tolerated.
I think they're making an example out of this guy, you know, because how many times do cops actually go to jail for excessive force when they're doing an arrest? Like that, like never happens. Very rarely does that happen. Like if they get in trouble at all, do they make it all the way to a felony? And actually, this dude is actually finna go sit down in the prison for like some number of years. Like how many times does that actually happen? I think they're making an example of this guy. So, but you know, I don't know what that really means in the big picture of things though, because it was like an old white lady. So I have to mention that, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, don't be rough up old white ladies. So that will be the message to the department, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Hands off the old white ladies. He said, sometimes I'm weird about voting on looks. I would not vote for him. He's scary looking. Who was it that was, I don't forget.
The dude that won the primary from jail, and if he doesn't get
oh yeah.
Yeah, he looked scary, man. He looked like he beat your ass. You didn't vote for me. Fuck you.
Yeah, I know. It sounds like he killed his wife. I mean, shit. It sounds like he killed his wife. That's scary. Like,
yeah, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, like I do on all of them. I mean, let the jury decide.
Yeah. That's why I said it sounds like it. I mean, who knows what the hell happened? And I don't trust the media for shit. You know, just that one story I read about the guy is not enough for me to say, you know, that he killed the lady. But if the cops have you locked up and they think you killed your wife, then there might be a good chance you killed your wife. I'm just saying. Oh, shit. Yeah, I'm going to wrap it, y'all. Thank y'all for joining. Peace and love. You'll be back tomorrow, Doc? You're on mute.
We're all hands on deck on Sunday.
Yeah, me too.
I'm going to be open to close.
Yeah, I have to be there at 3, I think. They asked me to work, but I have my schedule.
My day off is Monday, so I'm going to be the guy that gets stuck working while everybody gets their breaks, and then they're going to go, well, no, there's no time for anyone else to have a break. So I know that's coming. Well, you're off tomorrow. You can handle it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm old. Fuck you.
I hope I make some money. I need to make some money. So. But anyways,
I need $150 to $200 a day to make me feel a whole lot better.
All right, man. Peace and love. Thank y'all for joining. Thank y'all for listening. You know, donate to the Cash App, King Chuck ENT, or subscribe to the Spotify. And we'll be back tomorrow. Peace and love.